What up, what up, what up, YouTube friends and family? It's your boy, the Bad Wolf, and the legendary A6.
Yeah, they're
Six, you ready to jump off? You ready to get this going?
man. Let's do this, man. What we waiting for?
All right, Cam's on, pimpin'. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
All right, so what's going on, family? Want to thank everybody who's already in the house. We got 5 peeps, so thank you guys for being early and on time. Everybody else will fill in. We're going to have some more guests show up in the next 15 minutes to 30 minutes whenever they get free. People are going to come and go as they please. Just want to say thank you once again for supporting me and for supporting A6. If you don't know about my man, well, he's about to tell you who he is and how he gets down. So go ahead and handle that, Six.
Yes, indeed. It is A6, the foreign national born natural. And those of you know me, know me. Those of you who don't are about to. We are live and direct, live in effect, here to chop up game. You know what I mean? You know how we do, give you that hard-hitting information, stuff you can apply. I have been a little late getting to some of the emails. Some of the emails I have tried to read, but some of them still too long. So, y'all gotta keep it succinct. I mean, keep it like not pages, but 4 lines, 5 lines long. Anything other than that, you probably gonna need a consultation because I'm moving around a lot. I can't be doing a whole bunch of reading your life story, but I am interested to hear it.
I will definitely agree. Like mine have been cut down drastically. Now I probably only get about 3 a day. So that says a lot out of about, minimum is usually about 50 emails I get a day. So anything more than like 4 or 5 lines, I'm fading out. I'm going night time,
right.
And I'm like, hey, hit me for a consult. I'll try to answer 1 or 2 questions real quick for free. But for me, I don't know how it is for you, Six, but I can't follow your career. And every day you're hitting me up for free info. Like, we got to get that consult in there. I'm doing 30-minute consults now, make it a little bit cheaper for people. Even though I'll tell you right now, me and Six got some of the best info and experience, and we're still one of the cheapest out there compared to cats out here. $250 or whatever else, a half hour and whatever else. So, we're willing to work with you a little bit, but we got, if we got what you need, we're trying to give it to you, but you got to understand, there's like a line of people ahead of you. So work with us, we'll work with you.
Yes, indeed.
So once again, thank you guys for checking in. A6, of course, if you see anybody you want to send a shout out to, or you want to, show it on the message on the console or in the comment area, go ahead and do so. If you want to answer anything, feel free. I just want to thank everybody for supporting. We got lots of Eon charges $550.
Eon he has some good information. I tried to listen to Eon one morning, dude. It was just I was sleepy, and then he was like, he started yelling. I'm like, oh, I'm awake now. He's got some good info though.
He got a lot of info. He's definitely been put through the gamut. I never get into anybody's ins and outs. But I have heard more positive than negative. I will say that. I don't know about 550, just me personal. One day, let's say I get hot, I could see getting up to 100, 150, maybe even 250. But I don't know about 5. That's kind of a lot, depending on what you're getting. But that's just me. To each their own. I am not knocking the next man's hustle or ladies or whoever, whatever. Get it. If you can get it, get it.
True indeed.
But yeah, I know I'm a little zany, but do be wild. So I don't know. I can't. It's hard for me to listen and watch his show.
Yeah. But he does have some ideas he had brought forward, and I was like, yo, that's actually pretty genius. Damn, I didn't think of that. You know what I mean? Some of the stuff he talks about.
Hey, Shireen Cole, I see you out there, Miss Lady. Yep, we did a consult earlier. Appreciate you chiming in. There should be some good information. Y'all make sure y'all get some water, preferably out of a copper, beverage container. Get some snacks. We're gonna be running this for about 2, maybe 3 hours. We're gonna see what we got going here, and feel free to hook up with somebody in the comment section. Feel free to throw a shout out from what republic you're from or what private nation you've created. And if you got any fire info, by all means, Fade us up on it.
Yes, indeed. I'm an American. My man says, I am an American state citizen. I am recording secretary for the Rhode Island Assembly. Gotta be careful how you write state on there and citizen, man. Like the C is lowercase. You gotta, you know, I see what you're trying to say. You gotta be careful how you write it. It's gotta be a capital C.
Mounting Flame, what's good? I see you always there supporting. Much love, appreciation. Melissa,
So a bunch of people coming in, man.
Yeah. We're almost got about almost 100 in the first 5 minutes. Pretty cool. So some of the things that have popped up have been stuff like people hitting me and saying, oh, well, the person at the counter won't let me do my SS5, or they won't let me do this. And I tell people all the time, you either got to ask to talk to the manager or the head supervisor. Tell them you want to talk to them privately. Okay, that's one
definitely privately, 100%.
You got to tell them you want to talk to them in the private and that you are a private. What's going on, Lisa? I see you out there. Appreciate the love, girl. You also have to, if they won't work with you, write down who you talk to and then go to the next closest location. You can always send in the information to the headquarters. What am I supposed to do? You guys hit me back and you're like, well, they won't do it. I mean, I can't force them. You have to tell them. You have the power. You're their boss. You're the grantor and the beneficiary. They're the trustee. Remind them politely, are you a public trustee? They have to say, yeah, otherwise they're lying. Yep. So yes, okay. Well, in this scenario, I am the grantor and the beneficiary. I'm speaking to you privately. I'm speaking to you on the private side, in your private capacity. You have to do these things. Don't be scared. Don't go to them and be scared and then try to come to me and be Billy Bad Butt. Well, you said, Mr. Wolf, look, I'm gonna put you in your place too, politely at first.
Exactly.
I'm the one trying to help. Trust me. Anything that I'm showing you or Six is showing you, we've done it. That's how it moves. The only problem is you have to get past the gatekeeper.
Yep. Yeah, lower level functionaries don't know for the most part, man.
They don't. They do
like
not.
I told you guys when I went to the post office and I was trying to get info, basically get the general delivery going. And talked about this last time I was on here, and then none of the lower level gatekeepers, they didn't know what the hell it was. They had no idea, even though it's literally on the website. It's just people don't use it enough and they don't do a daily transaction with it, so they're not educated on it. But that's not to say it doesn't exist. So I ended up having to go above them to the postmaster and, had a conversation with him. He knew exactly what it was. Next time I came in there, everybody was informed. Now when I go in there, it's to the point now where I don't even have to show my passport to collect my mail. I basically go in there and say, what's up, general delivery, man? How's my favorite trustees doing? And they like, hey, what's up? What's going on? They all in a good mood. I'm like, all right, cool. You got anything here for me? They go back there and give me my stuff. And I go. I'm in there literally probably 5 minutes. I don't even need to stay in the line.
That's what's up. I see somebody asking about the 1099s. We're not really going to get into those because those have not been proven to work how some people have been led to believe. There's things behind that. If Six knows anything more, he can field that. Otherwise, that's
I don't mess with those. I don't mess with 1099s.
I'll tell you one thing though. One thing I can speak for Six, me, I heard Yusuf El say this, a couple others. You guys can't really hit us up with other people's processes. Okay, if we specifically don't go into detail on something, we might graze into it a little bit just to acknowledge, say, okay, we're seeing what's moving, but we don't know how they do, and we can only vouch. I know this man. I can vouch for his work. Okay, he can vouch for mine, but we can't vouch for certain other people's. And do your own history. Check out, make sure some of them people ain't locked up.
Right.
Go and Google 1099A fraud, 1099C fraud. See what pops up.
Yeah.
Check out some people's names. That's all I can say. Some people are doing good with them, but see, it's also some people are doing the process is not the way some people are telling them. So it's a wild, wild west when it comes to these new processes. There was no 1099 buying houses and stuff 2 years ago, not even a year ago. There was none of that. I ain't never heard of none of that stuff until this year.
Yeah.
So
then they'll work like for like 3, 4, maybe even 10 people, and then they'll put a mean stop to it. Then after those people are successful and get what they want, then they'll say they're going to sell the process to people. Now, little do you know, you're buying a process that was already used.
And they might have gotten away with it because the system might have let them get away with it. And then now they're going to close the net on people, start scooping up that court money. Zoop, fish in a barrel. So any tips on completing your FOIA request? They've rejected me. Well, if they're rejecting for your FOIA, it might be that where you're asking to do a FOIA is not part of the governmental system that is responsible for doing that. A lot of these agencies are so-called agencies, are private corporations that don't have to comply with that. But if they're refusing it, try contacting the company directly. Try contacting the Department of State. But if they're not in their jurisdiction, then you ain't gonna get nowhere, because you're talking to the highest people if you're going to the state already to do a FOIA on something. So we're about to bring our man Eli in. He's one of my good people. And Eli, what it is?
It's good, man.
Good. Hey, you got your
I think he's on mute. He muted himself.
Hey James, how you doing? How you doing, panel? How you doing?
Hey, there we go.
World?
What's good, champ?
Not much, man. Can't call it. What's your name?
A6, man. Yes, sir.
A6. Okay, nice to meet you, A6.
Yes,
hey,
yes,
Eli.
Indeed.
So
Yep.
if you see any comments you want to pop on the screen and answer, go ahead and answer. If you want to,
Where are those located? I've never used StreamYard. I see private comments. Okay, got you.
yeah,
Okay, that's it.
if you want to hit
I did
somebody up,
want to say I wanted to say something on the 1099-C process.
okay.
From my
Well,
experience.
Eli, before you
Oh,
explain who you are, how you get down, what
oh.
you specialize in, so people know like how you move. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah. Since well, a little background about me. I'm pretty much like a really underground type of. I'm starting to show my head above ground type of person. Credit kind of guy. I don't want to say guru or whatever, but I know how to do some things. So since 2015, I've been basically suing the credit bureaus on bankruptcy, on reinsertions of previous deleted material. I've been helping a lot of people, male, females, and I've never lost. Also, I've done other things. I sued a jail. I fired the whole entire sheriff's department and the board of commissioners, and that's documented. Um, I've been doing a lot of things. You know, my life has really been guided by the universe and the Most High, and it's taught me a lot of knowledge over the years. And you know, I ran into James on this journey of knowledge, basically, and we instantly connected and clicked. And I think it's going to be a great union. And some of the things that I have coming out next year, I'm going to be introducing a business credit building software for the Black community, because right now there's so many discrepancies of where we lack, and education is the main forefront. And a systematic way for us to learn is at the forefront of what's needed, because the school system's not doing it, and people just aren't motivated enough to really go read, educate. So the people that are really listening to you and tuned in, they're really researching, because you gotta want this information to follow it, because this is a rabbit hole, several of them, but it does lead somewhere. So to touch on the 1099-C really quickly, it's not really something that you do. A 1099-C is something that they do. So you will surprisingly just get it in the mail. That happened to me in 2016 and in 2020. Discover 1099-C, USA 1099-C. Now there are effective ways that you can do that on the credit like repair side. For example, under section 605C, which is like under identity theft or fraud, you can actually file a claim underneath that. You can actually call them. They'll shut down your accounts, and some of them will just write it off as bad debt, and you'll just magically receive the 1099-C in the mail. Trust me, it works. I can show you proof of two of them, and you can go back and apply for credit. The only thing is they're going to ask you to file a W-2, because they're going to want to verify your identity through a filed tax return. And Discover does that. There's a lot of banks that do it, and that's all that I'll say. Because typically, if you go through a bankruptcy process, you'll also receive them. So that's pretty much the only way that you're going to get them, because that information is so guarded. They don't want that out to the masses, because it would just be, it would crumble the financial system. You feel me?
We talked
So
about that a little bit. Yeah.
yeah, it would crush them. But that's why I want to empower people to learn how to lawsuit, because what you guys are talking about, the law, the legislation, the statutes, that's where they're the weakest at, and that's where we're the least educated at. But once we get smarter in those areas, and now we got an onslaught of people just suing,
Yeah.
they're gonna have
People
to
are waking up,
change. They're
man.
gonna have to, yeah, they're gonna have to back down. But see, we've forgotten how to work together, because when we desegregated, we lost integration with each other. So we don't trust each other. We fight each other. We killing each other. We barely speak to each other. We have no
Right.
family dynamic no more. So many areas to touch on. So
But
once we
see,
get back to those things,
that's
we're
like
gonna rise.
Sun Tzu's The Art of War. When we have them outnumbered, so you make the masses fight amongst themselves. They swoop in to clean up the mess and look like the heroes.
Yep.
That too.
Facts.
That too. And they put it right in front of our face. It's
Right.
like what we lack the most, man. We have no leadership. We have no leaders. We don't have Malcolms. We don't have Martins. We don't have brothers, like, other than Hebrews, like, on the corners preaching. We don't have leaders, man. We don't have anybody that's actually doing anything, because everybody's so afraid. And we have to get over this fear thing, because we're at war psychologically, spiritually, mentally, financially, on every level of life. They're attacking us. Biometrically, medically. I mean, you name it, dude. Anything with a alien on it is being attacked by us.
Yeah.
So we have to wake the people up, and the only way we can fight these people, bro, is through systems, man. Because everything in your life is a system. We're learning. We're trying to put a system together to learn for people to follow, but we're piecing it together ourselves. So it's a Rubik's cube. So we're all confused out here. That's why togetherness is like the number one thing, man. Because one person can't do it. It's too hard. It's too much.
Eli. So I know we spoke about this. I just want to throw it out there. So do you have a YouTube channel that people can get a hold of you, or an email that you're willing to share, or anything, or are you just kind of like completely underground? Because I know people are going to hit me up, or Six, asking about
Always do.
some of the stuff you're talking about. And I want people to know right now, this is not on me. This is my man's, his own gig, whatever he gives, or if he can't, he can't. So it's up to him. He does his own thing.
I'll answer this. I'm going to be coming out next year. So once I do that, I'll reach out to you, and then I'll give that contact information, because the things that I'm trying to release, I want to come out when everything is right. I don't want no hiccups. I don't want anything. So I'll give that information in due time. But I'll be coming out around like January, February. I'm going to be releasing a lot of things. Also, too, another thing I didn't touch on is I'm going to be coming out with a book as well, and I'm going to be releasing a lot of secret financial information, as far as how do we get credit? How do you apply for certain things? Like, what do you put on the application? What do you put for income? Like, how do you get a $5,000 limit? What banks do you go to? Who gives high limits? What credit bureau do they pull? This is important stuff. This is things of how our enemy and oppositions move, but they keep it guarded from us. And these are things that I'm like, what I'm doing is I'm no longer going to stay underground. I'm just going to release it, and at an affordable price for people. And I just want people to do something with the information, because there's no point for me having it all to myself and not sharing it, because our people need it, man. We need it. We need direction, man. And it's like, I don't even care about the money. I just want to do it for the people, man, because, man, we're losing, man, really bad, and it's getting worse. And these people are getting stronger, and we're just, man, we just living life with closed eyes, man. It's
One of the
bad.
things that we have at least going for us, and I believe it was what is his name? I can't think of his name right now. But anyway, it's the fact that we have the ability to light these small fires. Okay. And even for me back in the day, when I started off with this knowledge, they shut my stuff down, So now that there's so many people out there, so many little fires, it's hard to focus on any one, and I've got other channels already set up that are finna pop up. So, it also is being responsible with the information, like you were kind of, touching on earlier. You know what I mean? I know you you know, me and Six both, we're all into some knowledge, and we're about to bring my man Fearless Floyd on in a second. And it's nothing against the people. It's just if you want it, you have to get it. But in getting
Yeah.
it, you have to understand that you have to be responsible, because what we know is it's for the private side, you know. So in doing consultations, you know,
That's
some
true.
things we talk about and some things we don't, you know. So all I can say, Eli, is like, man, like you're getting a good jump off. You're gonna have people waiting for you, you know, for an email or a contact at some point in time. So when you're ready, we'll bring you back on. I know people are like, and
I appreciate
you
it.
know, so all right, I'm gonna bring Fearless Floyd on, and I'm gonna give him the same spiel. And then, like I said, if you guys see something you want to comment or you want to put up on the screen, go ahead and tab it. If
Yo,
you need to
somebody
take a
said,
break,
"Thanks, I'm homeless now. I want to get free and help others." That was cryptic as hell.
all right, well, we're gonna bring Floyd on.
All right. Like, okay.
Well, maybe. Well, we'll deal with that later. All right, Fearless Floyd.
Fearless
I think
Floyd, what's good, champ?
you might still be muted.
There I go. All right. How you
All
doing?
right.
You hear me?
What's
Good. Yeah, brother. All right. So here's how we're getting down. Feel free to share your info. You can promote your channel, because I know you do have one. I told some people about you. And if you see a question you want to answer in the comment, just jump on it, put it on the screen. I'm giving you guys full reign. Obviously, if I, you know, politely interrupt you, it's just to get a word in or to change the direction or to settle something. So don't let anybody be offended. And but the floor is yours, brother. Tell them who you are, what you do, how they can find you, and make it hot.
Make it hot. First of all, thank you, man. I'm honored to be here and be on the show, especially with my co-host. Definitely my boy Six. You got my Six. I guess it's that way.
You got
You got to figure out which way to go.
got your back.
Anyway, you guys can always find me on the fearlessfloydshow.com. I have a Telegram group. It's across every platform. I'm on TikTok, but I haven't mastered TikTok yet. But TikTok, Telegram, Rumble, BitChute, YouTube, Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo. Fearless Floyd Show across all that. So I'm easy to find. Fearless Floyd Show at yahoo.com. If you want to email me, the best way to get a hold of me is Telegram. I am swamped. I am always with my back against the wall, looking at the 8-ball. And that's pretty much it for me. I do have a VCR class coming up with the voucher coupon remittance process that Ann LaFleur has perfected to turn the VCR into a certified check. So that's a pretty neat class. She's had results with mortgages, foreclosures. What else did you say? Credit cards and utilities, Jesse?
I think utilities is still working on credit cards.
Utilities, and then credit card companies. As always, they're the most difficult to establish an honorable relationship. They want a double, triple tip.
Yeah, especially Capital One. So let me tell you how crooked Capital One is.
Oh, I'm already knowing, but go ahead.
I'm sure Eli knows stuff. They try the hardest to avoid any kind of discharge. They're like, no, we'll keep the instrument, but you're gonna pay this back. That's what I'm doing every time. Now I've honestly seen success with Credit One, but I've never seen anybody successfully discharge anything just in a smooth motion without having to take them to court.
I can say that I have. That was one of my early successes. I will say that I have done it. But they do not. It was threatening with court, and I basically dealt with the lawyers on the private side, and I was like, hey, this is what it is. I already sent them this, and this. So if you want me to, file it against you and them, this is what we're gonna do. This is what's coming. And they were like, all right, cool. We'll just, But yeah, in general, if you don't move just right, they're definitely gonna try to play you.
Yeah. So
one thing too. Oh, sorry.
No. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Oh no, I was gonna say because some people they have debts and sometimes they get fearful when they got to go to court. So just a piece of advice: if you ever get a letter saying that something's been filed against you, but they have not done due process to you as far as serving you, if you reject the service, you never have to go to court. So a lot of people are fearful when they have credit, they get sued by the debtor. If you never accept the service, like, hey, they don't live here, they don't know who you are, nothing happens of your case. It just goes away or it goes to a collection agency. And at that point, it turns into what is called a commodified debt instrument. A lot of people don't know what that is, but that's basically how bill collectors sell your debt. So they'll sell your debt, then they'll call you and they'll threaten and make it seem like you owe something, but you really don't. But they just bought the instrument through an assignment of debt. They reassigned the debt from like American Express to their collection agency name, ABC, except for example. So just remember that. Don't allow these people to intimidate you. Stand in honor and show them to be in dishonor, and you'll always win.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
See, what I actually did was I actually went ahead and just responded because they were like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna." They tried to serve a warrant, but I don't live in that place anymore. I was like, you know what? I know for a fact these dudes are dishonest, so I put together all my instruments. I went ahead and did a countersuit. So now I'm willing to go in because at this point I got them against the wall. I have the instrument, I have a copy of the instrument, I have proof of delivery, got the certified mail slip. They're completely in the wrong. So my whole thing is they're gonna have to end up trying to settle outside of court because they don't want that shit on a permanent record or public record.
Hey, Floyd, I got a couple people
Correct.
saying
Yes,
they couldn't find you on Telegram. Is it just the Fearless Floyd Show, all spaces in between, or one
The
word, or
Fearless
what?
Floyd Show. Yeah, and
You
you'll
can-
see a logo that looks like that. That's what you're
Okay,
looking
so
for.
he's on. That's
The Fearless Floyd Show. Yep.
all right.
And I'm getting my merch ready.
Floyd, feel free, or anybody else, to put your info in the comment section and to share that. And then we've got a comment from
Thank you.
Colleen. What's going on, Colleen? How do I get info on how to get rid of credit card debt? Anybody want to field that one?
HJR 192. I mean, you're going to drop this real quick. HJR 192, which is Public Law 7310, and UCC Article 3. Start there.
I want to address Ms. Holmes. Once you wind up with a judgment for non-response, no, because for you to enter court, you have to do they have to do what is called a return of service, or ROS. If you
went dark, we can't hear you.
Never accept that, then you never go to court. So you don't get a judgment. Now, if they serve you, now you have to go to court. You got a court date. So if you don't show up for that, then you would be in default judgment because you either didn't show up and now they get default. Now they can come and garnish your stuff. But still, even with that, you still have to tell them what you have because they have to go through a whole order that has to get approved for a judge just to enforce the judgment. So they still can't really touch you. Basically, there's nothing that they can do to you. But if you reject it at the initial point, then nothing ever becomes of it. It just goes to collections or it just goes away. Period.
Keeping in mind that it's also unsecured debt. You know what I mean? You know, you didn't pledge anything to get that, and they used your signature to open that credit line in the first place. And at the end of the day, all of this is credit and debit, so it's going to be discharged either against your Sesticate trust or to the Treasury or the IRS, some kind of way, or they can do it in house, but they would prefer to get the credit for it. So I mean, I'm not embarrassed to say this at all. I've done it twice in my life. One when I was a dumb kid and had credit cards and whatever else, and that's how I learned about this, And then I got older, and my father passed away. He had the same name, so all of his stuff went on to my credit profile. And I had to get his stuff off. And then I was like, well, now I'm getting his off. I might as well try to get mine. So that's where my experience comes from and doing, promissory notes and, having them discharge it. So one of the things for me was that if you're in a position where you can't pay it and they're starting to send these letters, there's the Federal Consumer Reporting Agency and the federal,
CFPB.
Yeah. That have laws and codes about what they can and cannot do, how they can bother you, when they call you, where they call you, what times they can call, how many times. You can send them one letter to say, hey, squash that. Anything from there, it starts at I think it's $1,000 fine per phone call. But if you're in that position, it would be a good time to start looking up, discharging it, either authorizing them to do it or getting a promissory note, because they're supposed to take that offer to pay off the debt, because none of this was done with lawful money in the first place. This is all what they consider to be inside the corporation.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's not enough money of exchange to match money of account. It's impossible. If everybody requested every bit of their cheese to come out of the bank, this is why when you can't walk into a bank, let's say you got $100,000 in the bank, you cannot walk into that bank the same day and say, give me all my money. They're not going to give it to you. There's actually been celebrities that have done that and were pissed when they couldn't get their money. I think it was a football player that did that last year. And he closed his bank out. Like, I don't want to do business here anymore. Like, dude, you can't just walk into a bank and request all the Federal Reserve notes out for the money of account, because, again, they don't want to give it to you in the first damn place. That's why they catch an attitude when you ask for anything over, like, I think it's $5,000 or something. They're like, oh, we can't give you that. You got to make an order and come back 3 days later to get it. You see what I'm saying? So there will never be enough money of exchange to match money of account. That's why the whole entire system is imaginary.
Yeah, it's all the paper is fiat and everything else is digital, and at the end of the day, it's what they call as what do they call it? What is that process? Not micro, but it's fractional banking.
Fractional banking, that's what it is. Yep.
Oh yeah, modern money mechanics.
Yep. So, Ms. Holmes, I see what you're saying there. So, when you reach out, try to contact the CFO of the companies, Equifax, Experian, LexisNexis. Try to find out who they are. Do your research. Find out who those persons are. Send them a personal letter. Tell them you're speaking to them on the private side, and go at it that way. Then, if that doesn't work, maybe they know a better way to force them to do it. But for me, I'm like this. I'm going to kick the tires 2 or 3 times. If it doesn't crack, then I'm just going to wipe the scale. So I would just say, why are you worrying about that social security number, which is probably what you have it on? Open up a new EIN with your same name and keep it pushing.
Yep.
Don't worry about that punk social security number. It ain't nothing. Let me tell you. So the social security number in your name is a business. You're already running a business. So smash that business and go open a new one.
Right. And that's a good point. That's a good point, James, because a lot of people don't realize the duality of credit. You have 2 sides of credit, like what the brother's saying. You have the private or the personal, and the business is basically the private side. But people don't focus on building that side up, because that's where you're going to get 500,000. That's where you're going to touch $1 million. That's where you'll get a $300,000 loan. And you could do bankruptcy over there just like you can on personal. Because if you do, for example, a Chapter 7, you just reset your whole entire credit. You just did a 1099-C, because all of that stuff is going to be on a 1099-A and C, but you just don't have to add it as income because you're insolvent. So at the end of the day, when you know that, you just use the laws that are there, like hide under the bankruptcy code. We just had a president that did it 3 times, and he still owns a casino, and he has 14-karat gold floors. Booyah. So what are we doing? And he's a millionaire, multi, and he has yachts. Come on. So it's like we're playing a rigged game. We have to learn the game and play it well. And we're not playing it well right now, because we lack education, we lack direction, we lack leadership in these areas that we need. We can spend 1,000 hours in one area, but that doesn't make us great on that one thing, because we might be missing one thing to make us great. So we have to continue to discover, go on a journey. You have to learn. That's why I love this channel, because it's not that there's one process to something, but it's a do-it-yourself process. You're gonna become your smartest and your most wisest when you do it yourself. Like what the brother said, hey, he went through bankruptcy. That's how he learned this, because it opens your mind. Likewise, I did this out of survival. I learned this skill set out of necessity. I self-taught myself. I read. If you want to hide something from people, put it in a book. It's so true. It's like it's COVID. They won't open it. You know what I mean?
You can't say that word, man.
I'm saying, man, it's the bubonic plague. Oh my God, it's a book. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you get what I'm saying? I mean, I'm making comedy of it, but this is what we've come to. If they make a news stream right now on social media, the whole world believes it, and it could have just been fun, but it just went viral. It's like so crazy. It's like mind blowing, dude. Because I grew up where you had to approach a woman. You had to go to the mall and physically talk on the phone for hours when you got a number. It wasn't text messaging. It was beepers, you know. And then we graduated to chirp phones, you know. But I'm just
None of
saying,
that
it's
Tinder, none of that sliding DM stuff. Nah.
man. I remember MySpace.
MySpace. Hey, yo.
Bro, what?
Yeah, you know.
Fire.
All right,
Hey,
so we got Shireen Cole says, do you think it's best to transfer everything to our foreign trust and then file bankruptcy on the public name for the debt left over?
It's always good to slide assets to a foreign trust, honestly. That's
Yeah,
always a good thing.
Always.
I would
Anytime you can move something out of the jurisdiction of the U.S., do it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
Belize, different Cayman Islands, Belize, islands like that. Those are great islands. I'm all about that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I shared this last time, yo. Go grab this. And this is volume 1 right here.
Hey,
You can
Floyd,
grab volume 2.
Yes.
don't you do trust and know a little bit about this too?
I got a book too.
Yes. I was, as I look
Here's
at
a
that
good one,
question
too.
and broke it down. Yep.
Yeah.
Redemption
that's that fire
manufacturer
right
for
hypothetical.
operating secured.
Yeah.
Redemption manual 5, 2 of 4, operating secured.
Yeah. I
Hope
need to
y'all
get
got
one.
that.
I gotta get that. I got the first
All right.
one.
All right, go ahead.
First of all, she's saying, do you think it's best to transfer everything to our foreign trust? So I really don't know what everything entails and what that looks like to you. Some people could have real estate, could be a car, could be bank accounts, cash, precious metals, et cetera, and then file bankruptcy on our public name for the debt left over. Your public name is full of credits on account. The only reason that you can't use them is because you have a public education. You did not get a private education, so you don't know how to operate that. So I don't understand what debt would be left over because it's all credit on account. You just don't know how to access it. The debt is you using all this freaking play money, the drafts, the coupons, the remittances, promissory notes, Federal Reserve notes, checks, debit cards, all that. You just increase the debt. You're never going back to the other side and correcting it. Me and Jesse just went to Austin today and came back. So we were having some discussions, and a lot of exactly what y'all are talking about, I was telling him today. And to go back and to support one of the things that you touched on about service for a lawsuit. Okay. When I was a writ writer, jailhouse lawyer in prison in the WIN unit, after about my 4th year, I really, really, really became proficient in law in all areas. Finally, it clicked one day and I got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and my hustle was doing legal work for other people. That's how I supported myself. I didn't beg friends and relatives for money, none of that. I put myself there. So I got to support myself. I got to be a man. So anyway, all these guys would bring me these child support lawsuits from the Texas Attorney General. And they'd be like, Floyd, man, can you get me back? And it'd be some little hick town in some county in West Texas. And we're in Huntsville, Texas, which is, semi-Gulf Coast. So I'm like, man, they're not going to, I can try. I can do a writ of habeas corpus ad testificandum to get you bench warranted back, but they're not going to come. They're not going to send a deputy or a constable, somebody come to Huntsville, pick you up, take you over there for a civil matter for child support. So, man, I can't tell you how many guys came up to me, and sometimes I'd do it for them, sometimes I wouldn't. But the end result would be about 6 months later, they'd come back and say, hey, Floyd, you remember me telling you about that? Yeah. What's up? Boom, here's the order from the court. And they wouldn't send them back, but they would steamroll these guys. I mean, they $225,000 arrears in child support as soon as they walk out of prison. I mean, this guy didn't have nothing coming in, and now you got him walking out.
That's
crazy. $250,000 in the hole. Seriously, because he's probably got 3 or 4 kids with different baby mamas. No biggie. I don't care about all that. But so after all, I'm reading all this material, and of course I don't have internet access, so I can't vet anything. And Judge Dale, when you get served, just right on the front, big red marks law. I do not consent to these proceedings. I do not accept your offer to contract, your byline, sign it, date it, UCC 1- and at the time it was 207. but I put 308. Red magic marker. I made a copy for the DA or the Texas Attorney General's office, one for the judge, one for the clerk, my own files, and sent it back. So they sent me, this was the actual initial lawsuit that they served me. So then they sent me a reset form for a reset 45 days after that date that I was supposed to be there for the service. So I did the same thing on that, sent it back out. So I did this probably 6 to 8 times over 14 months. Mine went away because I had nothing to lose. I was like, I've got 8 lawsuits of my own. I'm challenging my two of my convictions. I'm challenging, I got all this other stuff that I'm doing for these people. Judge Dale, I'm going to give you a shot and see if it works. For me, it worked. It was effective, but I had to do it multiple times and I had to be persistent and I had to stand on my square. And apparently it worked. I have not been able to emulate it because I've never been served another lawsuit to emulate it again. Right. So that's my own personal experience that I can share with you guys on that particular subject.
But see, that's a good point that you make, because see, that's the point that I was trying to make earlier, is when you challenge these people and you get over your fear of challenging them and standing up to Goliath, you have the stone to knock them down. Yep. And that's the thing. You just got to get over the fear. So also, Miss Colleen, you can't file bankruptcy with 7K. You have to be over 10K. So you wouldn't be able to do that on that card. It's difficult to answer that question because it's kind of loaded without knowing your situation. Are you late? Are you behind? Are you on time? And, there's a lot of different factors and strategies that you have to do that. So it's hard to just answer that. That's kind of loaded. Sorry. Because he wanted to touch on that. She asked a question earlier about what to do with a 7K card because she doesn't want to file bankruptcy for it, but you can't file bankruptcy if you owe less than 10K.
Good info.
All right. Madam G says, can you transfer your property into a private trust if an eviction?
You're supposed to do that before. I believe you're supposed to do that before the eviction starts.
Yeah. And that's a sad commentary on just our community as a whole, that we, by the time you find us, you're already back up against a wall and, you're just like, somebody save me, please help anybody. Right. And we're not those people, come to us, before you get in all this trouble, and then we can guide you to get you set up. So, when you encounter this down the road, you know what to do and you don't have to reach out for help.
So, and I see she posted another comment where she says, I'm behind. If you find that you're behind and you absolutely think that, the card is just not going to get paid, I've been there. Other people might have different ways of handling it. For me, it was, I sent in a promissory note to the company, but you want to send it to the CFO. This is how I did it. Everybody else might have their own ways of doing it. You guys can jump in. This is just my perspective and experience. And I sent a promissory note there because promissory notes are able to be monetized. Okay. They can securitize them and pay off the debts. So with me, I sent it to them telling them this is on the private side. I'm unable to pay this debt. And here's this note. If you're not going to accept the note, to return it. And, basic things like that. And they were able to process. There's a couple of more little things to it. We don't have enough time to go through all the details, but that's the basics of it. If you guys have a better way that you guys have done it, or just a way that worked, feel free to share that, and then we'll just keep moving.
Only thing I've done, I've done the nothing major like what you've done, but I have used the remittance coupon with a small credit card. The amount wasn't for very much, but it did disappear off of the credit. And not only there was no negative marks, but the whole entire account just vanished. Like the account was there, that it was open, and they had a balance. And then when I sent it in, it just disappeared. I'm like, oh, okay, it worked. So that's the success.
Did your credit card Did your credit card stay open, or did they close that? Did your credit card stay open, or did they close that account?
Yeah, they closed the account. They sent something in saying basically, we're closing the account because we don't like the way you made a payment, but it didn't turn into a negative mark. It just disappeared completely. So you know what I mean? Yeah. So basically in so many words, it was like, let me clarify that for Colleen.
They will probably not keep the account open. Now, back when I first did it the first time around, they were cool with that kind of stuff. Not a lot of people were doing this. Now they're really not trying to play that because they know people are going to just keep doing it every year or every whenever. So if you cannot pay it, there are laws in place that they are supposed to accept your notes, which can pay off your debts because they can securitize them. But understand this, that, I also made a video by James C. Lovett, discharging, where I talk about IRS processes and some other ones. I would suggest watching that, getting some books on it as well. We could do a consultation and all that good stuff and kind of go from there. But yeah, just understand that they will probably close your account and they are not supposed to refuse your offer to pay. It's all I'll go into right at this point in time.
So let me ask you a question, James. With them accepting the payment or trying to get them to, accept a form of your currency, what is the most difficult thing you run into when you try to do that?
Well, when I was experimenting with this, and this is all, of course, educational information, so please feel free to be entertained.
Non-belligerent, non-combatant.
So what I ran into is that if you create it from your own nation, okay, which is what I did, you will find that I got a lot of resistance, but that doesn't mean that they didn't take it and not send it back. So the biggest thing for me was making sure that it was just a basic note, not claiming to be from my private nation, just a basic note with my all caps name, and then making sure that the note was trackable in case they decided to not do the honorable thing.
Which is more likely than not.
I was trying to hold a
That's
faith.
the truth. They love to play games, boy. I see why they invented Milton Bradley, because they play games, boy.
They play big games. Somebody said,
remember,
Shelly said, y'all are fossils.
You can't send these to the low-level
Shelly said what?
functionaries. No offense to them, but you have to send it to the attention of the CFO so that he can bring it to the proper people who know what to do with it. Because the regular people where you send your normal checks in cash or whatever you send in, money orders, whatever, they don't know what that is. This is above that pay grade.
They're
We
just
just got
minimum
dissed
wage.
on the sneak tip, though, man.
Oh, with fossils, we
Yeah.
fossils.
Somebody just dissed us on a sneak tip.
Say we fossils.
I was trying to put you on point, like somebody slid off four of us.
I'm a
Like,
T-Rex.
all right, yeah.
I'm a T-Rex with
If
short
you've done
arms.
as many of these tenders as I have, yeah, right.
But
There
I'll
are
accept fossil. I'm okay with that. That just but you here getting this info.
Yeah. Hey, the info is modern though. The info is modern.
And I've been seeing the young folks on TikTok copying us, taking my information straight out, my direct information, and using it on TikTok. So we ain't doing too bad for old guys.
Facts. She said the CFO of Toyota denied me twice. Yeah, I was wondering if you could actually walk into like a dealership. Like, how would you have to do that? Because you can't talk to my man.
So Toyota. The reason why Toyota probably did is because they're not a direct bank. You have to deal with a direct. At least for me, I found that you have to deal with a direct bank. So if you're going to send it to the CFO, I would send it. You would have to instruct him to send it to the CFO of his bank. Okay, and for the most part, they're just not going to want to deal with it. So I would make it easy. If you're going to do this again, this is what I would do real quick. Like, put the note in there, put it addressed to Toyota, put his personal name on there with Toyota. And then I would put a letter, an envelope in there, self-addressed, stamped, and ready to go, so that he can send it right to his bank. All he's got to do is address it and send it to the CFO of his bank. Make it real easy. You might win with that. Otherwise, like my man was saying here, you might want to check out the redemption manual, because there's some other methods in there that can work. Same with you, Colleen, and some other people. Check that out. It is worth. Last time I seen it was like $100, but you can probably find it if you look around on the internet. Real hard, like you might be able to find it for free. But yeah, so that's what I would say.
Someone asked about child support. That's actually something that I want to challenge on because I feel that child support, even though I don't have any children, I feel that that is one of the most discriminating laws, period. And I don't understand why no one attacks them on discrimination and civil rights. Because from a man, that they are discriminating against you. There's no law that says that that seed you have to pay for. I mean, it came from your loins. It's 50% you. But of course, a lot of people are afraid to just take it, which I understand in a situation like that because they could throw you in jail, take your passport. But it's something that needs to be addressed on discrimination because I think it would be a landmark case if someone actually had the heart to do it because they're discriminating you on so many levels. I mean, oh my God. Like if I had a kid, I would try to eat them alive. I would do it. I would be that guy because I know I can win on discrimination because you just have to prove one piece of evidence. You have to just prove one thing to win a case. You can have a bullet, you can have a gun, you can have a witness, you can have one letter, and you can win. You can bring them to their knees because they don't want any parts of you in the judicial system. We just are not as educated as we should be in those areas, and we really have to. I mean, because we're playing a rigged game, like I say. So you can't play this game fair. You're gonna have to cheat a little bit because they're cheating, and you can't be the cheater if they're cheating without cheating. So you have to be whatever you have to be in this game because it's not. It's a rabbit hole. It's a maze. It's a matrix. It's whatever you want to define it as. It's that, and then some. And they're gonna get smarter, and so are we. Because at this point, we're the resistance. But what are we resisting? We can only resist so much. We need more help because a fence gives way without resistance. So we need more of that. So it's like I want to motivate people to be educated to fight for themselves, and I'll fight with you because we can't do this by ourselves, man. It's gonna take everybody's brain, everybody's eyes, everybody's thoughts coming together as one. How do you think they built the Tower of Babel in Genesis 11? They came as one to build. We have to do that again. How do we build Black Wall Street or anything? We had to come together as people, regardless of color. We have a whole stock system. We have a whole Dow Jones. We have systems. We have a jail system. How is that functioning? How's there order in the world without systemication? That's what we have to do as a people, as a community. Because if not, man, we're gonna lose, man. Because the
Yeah.
stuff that they're doing is real. We're gonna see RoboCops in our era. We're gonna see people that's driven cars. They're already here. You're gonna see robotic women. They're already building that in Japan and China. So
Yeah.
you're gonna have robotic Stafford wives coming. This is facts. This isn't like made up. Go look at the Apple car. They got a whole freaking energy thing that's on the wall that picks the whole car up just to charge it.
I
It's
saw
like the
that.
coolest thing, but it's crazy. What is really coming? It's not even on tires. We got to really wake up. These podcasts are to enlighten you. You want to be Illuminati? Well, you got to get illuminated. It's all about being illuminated. Turn the light on. You can't see in the dark. Turn the light on. Illuminate.
Hey,
And that's
Elon,
the same thing with your third eye and your mind.
Elon,
Sorry,
let
go
me.
ahead.
No, you're good, brother. I just want to get finest thing in here. Let me get a chance. Finest thing. Feel free to jump in, introduce yourself, tell people how they can find you, how they can contact you. Your channel, and then if you see some comments that you want to jump on and just feel free. It's open forum, brother.
Man, what up to the creed, man? It's Finest Thing, man. Y'all can find me under the same name, Finest Thing Walking. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Instagram. Email is the same thing, Finest Thing Walking 1. But Instagram probably about the easiest way to get a hold of me or whatever the case is. And I got my own channel. I don't know if I could drop my link in the comments or something. Yeah, I can drop my link.
Yeah, drop it in the comments.
Yeah, I drop my link in the comments to my channel. Y'all can go check me out or whatever. But speaking on that child support thing y'all was just talking about, Shalom, I just wanted to say, there is a few ways you can fight them in their own battle, using their own rules and stuff with child support. Like some states, I know Illinois is still one of them. It's only a few states that had blocked it now. If you're a W-9 worker, it's actually in the law that you're not even supposed to be on child support. You feel me? Like real talk. And that'll get you out of a lot of child support in a lot of states just off being a W-9 worker. And then other people, I know they get child support from like cross state lines. Like, my BM moved and now she put me on child support. that's also another easy way to beat it because there's no minimum contacts. You feel me? If you ain't never lived in that state or did business in that state, they cannot bring you into that venue. You feel me? There's no minimum contacts. They have no they're trying to do long arm jurisdiction. They can't do that. So that's another way to beat it. But I know New York found a way to start blocking that W-9 stuff. Yeah, I think they put it in their law that W-9 workers have to pay now, and I think maybe Texas or something. But there's a few ways you can beat them using their own little system against them or whatever. You just got to understand Title 4D and all that stuff, the Social Security Act. You got to get a real good understanding of all that stuff.
Well,
Yeah,
shoot,
there's,
man. Even the statute is what is it? The statute is 666, isn't it? That's the statute for child support. I think it's United States Code 666 or something of that nature. And like that's a clear violation of your religious rights. That's in the Constitution.
No, for real though.
For real. Look it up, yo. Hey, Will, can you pull it up real quick? No, straight up. Yo, I shit you not. I saw it myself. I should have it. It's like
you don't have admin rights.
I mean, let me see. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up now.
You should have admin rights. Meanwhile,
42 US Code 666. I'm gonna show you.
Let me get some rights too. I need some. Matter of fact, make me a moderator.
Somebody got put on timeout for 5 minutes. Who was screwing around? Here it is right here. Can y'all see that?
Mike removes from solo.
Can you see it?
Yeah, we got you.
Yep, that's it right there. U.S. Code 666, requirements of statutory prescribed procedures to improve effectiveness of child support enforcement. That's a clear violation of your religious rights if you are a Christian or if in any way, you know what I mean? Wow. That's the mark of the beast right there.
Finest thing, you don't can you access it or no?
Yeah.
That's sick.
Ain't it? It's right there.
That's sick.
Yes.
And they do that like
so no one's using this to like so you can get you can get child support discharge. Is anybody using this? Is there any case it's been used in? Or?
It seems like to me, if this is a clear violation of your religious rights, that shouldn't be an issue. I mean,
so okay, but the thing with statutes and laws is like when you attack them on it, you got to know like how to use it. So like how would you use this? That's powerful statute. That's why I'm asking, because like how would you present that to make the courts say, okay, well, you're gonna have to throw this case out, like for example, like okay, if I file a lawsuit against the credit bureaus, right, and I go for say reinsertion of previous deleted material, I'm going to I'm going to submit that doc, but then I'm going to also attach an exhibit to it, so that exhibit will be their violation. Okay, so that way it puts the courts on notice of what they violated as well as the pleading. So like with something like this, would a letter from their church or your pastor, would that be suffice or something?
I would
like
think
that?
if you had like a ministry of some sort, or like you said, a letter from your pastor, in order to enter something like this on a record, I do believe you'd have to probably go down to the law library and get a certified copy from there and have them put their seal on it. That way they can't ignore it in the court. Or you could even go as far as to get it authenticated. We talked about that on my channel. You can send it to the state. You can get it authenticated at the state level, and then you can also get it authenticated on a federal level, and you can enter it in on the case, and then you can again go back to whatever pastor you have, or if you have a ministry set up, you can do that, and you can basically put that in as a clear violation of your religious rights, pretty much. And at that point, it's impossible for them to ignore. You know what I mean?
Or a baptismal.
Idea, that's good. Baptism.
Yeah, throw it. Yeah, baptismal. Can't argue with that. That's straight from the church.
That's good. That's really good. I like that idea, bro. I would try that if I had a child. I really would try that because it doesn't hurt, because you really never know.
So I do have a child, and me and the baby mama, even though we don't care for each other, we are admirable, over everything. But I have been receiving a lot of people who've been asking me about this. So at the end of the day, for me, in my perspective, all of this is still commercial. This is still contracts. So I do provide some educational information on Black Site 32 that has been very successful. We'll just say that. You read it and you see what's applicable to you and you make your modifications. I give you enough ammo that you will be 95% farther than you normally will on your own. I attack it from a commercial standpoint. And so if you guys, we can do a consultation on that, or you guys can pick that up on your own. But a lot of it too, guys, is understanding that, I'll give you this nugget for free too. It's like somebody mentioned before, it's your legal name that they're going after, and your social, which is a business trust. If you create another business trust and you operate with that, and you stop sweating the old business trust name and social, and you just keep it for a discharge and not, there's multiple ways to move where you don't have to hold on to that old stuff because what your mama gave it to you, you're just used to the numbers. Like Trump said, man, I'm gonna do whatever it takes. If it's legal and I can do it, why would I not use it? You'd be a fool not to use it. How are you gonna how can you just sit here and be like, all of you right now can change I've done this. Okay. Change your whole entire everything by just getting a new EIN or a foreign 98 number EIN. That's it. Get it under the same name if you want. I don't necessarily recommend it. Use your given name, your spiritual name. Use whatever you want to do. Call it, Jabberwocky. I don't even care. But operate it. Yep, here's my card. Jabberwocky Incorporated. Create a whole new profile, all that stuff. It is usable anywhere your social's used. And you're done with 95% of all your problems on that old social because it was always set up to be a trap. You were never supposed to use that one number your entire life. It's impossible for the average person to run the game of life with one number, with everything on it. And then you got your baby mama, whoever else throwing stuff on it. You got the state throwing stuff on it. Man, you better get something that ain't in their jurisdiction, or at least tied to the legal name. Then they can't do nothing. And keep keep your nose clean with the new one. But you know what? Even if you don't, go get another one, just like Trump. You know how many EINs he has? I looked his stuff up. You know how many?
Yeah.
Man, come on. He ain't worried about it.
And it says that on the back of the Social Security card, do not use this number or card for identification purposes. It says it right on the back.
Yeah, Trump has like 2,000 LLCs or something. And, you got to have a law firm just to manage your LLCs. And just imagine the tax. Oh, my God. Yeah, that's got to be a nightmare. I wanted to answer a question over here in the comments. Someone asked about setting up your trust, putting your vehicle in your trust, and getting your DOT plates, how that order would look like. You want to set up your trust first. Then you want to get a trust underneath. First, you want your pass-through trust would be your revocable trust in your name. So Floyd Pleasant Tarvin, estate living trust, estate family trust, estate ministerial trust, whatever you want to put down there on the other end of it. Put that in your name. Then you're going to set up another trust underneath that would be a layer trust. So that, let's just say that trust is specifically set up to put your vehicles in. So that trust is only for your vehicles. So as soon as you get that trust set up and get your EIN for it, then you want to go register your vehicle, you actually want to put the vehicle in your trust. Then you want to go register your vehicle in your trust with your certificate of trust. And then they're probably going to have one or two different affidavits you're going to have to fill out to submit with that. At least that's how it was in my jurisdiction. And then once you get that, you can do your DOT plates and you can surrender your plates. And that's kind of where I'm at right now, surrendering my plates, which is a good segue because I actually went to Austin and went to the DPS today to do my driver's license surrender. But we can get into that if y'all guys want to in a minute. But anyway, I just want to answer that question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me.
Yep.
Well, as you, one of your viewers, your subscribers, brought this method up that there's two sides to the driver's license. And what I did is I went in and I found the DL 174, which is the Texas surrender form here in Texas. And I took their form and went and created my own form using their form. So I made it my own, gave it a new number, put a notary on it, signed it, got it notarized, put my driver's license on it, and I sent it back. Well, Jesse did the same exact thing I did. He used all my paperwork and got pulled over, and his TDL popped up in the system. He's like, well, what's up with this? So he actually went into a DPS mega center and asked her about it. Said, hey, I surrendered my license, and it's still coming up in the system. What's going on there? She looked at it and she goes, oh, well, yeah, you surrendered it on this side, but you didn't surrender it over here on this other side. So you've got to do this other side. And she went and got him a DL 174 form, had him fill it out. Okay. Well, that form asks for the authorizing officer or a notary. So she's just like the Walmart greeter of DPS, basically. She steers the traffic. Okay, you're coming in, you got an appointment, you need to go over and log in at this kiosk. If not, you need to come over here, fill out this paperwork. That's basically what she does. So she took the authority to go get the form. She knew what he was talking about, knew that there's a public side and a private side, and there's two different methodologies to do it, which was surprising for her position where she was at. And verified that there are two sides. Crazily enough, I did it correctly the first time, but didn't know that there was a public side that I needed to close out as well. So Thursday, I have an appointment 2 miles down the street at my local DPS because they wouldn't do walk-ins in Austin. And I'm going to surrender it on the public side and see what happens. So that'll be my third visit to DPS to do that, actually fourth to do that process. So I will keep y'all updated on my progress with that.
Okay.
That's what's up.
Hey, I just wanted to say something too. Also, like you were talking about the license, because I'm a veteran, and you're absolutely right about the private side. Because like I went there, I registered with them, right? And they made me give up my tag, and they gave me new tags that are different than any other tags. They're like the veteran tags or the DV tags or whatnot. But there is like you're saying, like maybe 2 or 3 sides, because when you register as a veteran, all of your fees get discounted. So you pay like $8 for a 2-year registration, and then you only paid $3 to get a new tag. So there is some stuff going on behind the back. Like I'm in Florida, I live in Florida. So for example, like if you go to the airport, you can leave your car there for 3 months, and then you don't have to pay for parking. So there are things that are not disclosed to the public that are in the private, especially for veterans, for like this process that you're doing. So you're absolutely right. So I hope people are really paying attention to this information, because it's duality to everything in life, everything. And that's what we're talking about, basically.
Well, and kind of like what Heinz Bank just kind of talked about right here. It says give these viewers the game on the public versus private. So if anybody wants to field that, otherwise I can. But
what do they
In which
mean?
context?
What do they mean? Yeah.
So essentially, what I believe they're asking is most people don't understand that there's a private side to each person and there's a public side. So the difference is the public side is your name in all capitalized letters. It is inside the corporation. You are considered to be a federal or state or federalized state employee, a public officer, and people can disagree all they want, but pull out your driver's license. Your name is in all capitalized letters. I did a video on it. Black Laws Dictionary says when your name's in all capitalized letters, it is a loss of your status.
And also too. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Also, just like from a credit standpoint, like if you just go to a bank and they'll offer you a personal card and they'll offer you a business card. The business card does not show on your personal credit.
Yep.
It only shows if you default on it. And depending on where you get it from, it won't show up at all. It'll just simply stay on the private side. So example, anybody can get on Google right now, go and type Experian business credit report, Equifax business credit report. you'll see that they have a separate business reporting. If once you set up your EIN, register with Dun and Bradstreet, now you're on that side. You're on the private side. So like what James was saying earlier, as far as the EIN, a lot of people always used to have this big craze on the internet about CPNs and all of that. All it is a legal EIN. You can create as many EINs as you want. Look at an EIN as a child. For every new child you want, create a new one and a new one and a new one and a new one. Name them whatever you want. It could be Pink and Pink Incorporated. It's its own entity. It's its own person. It's its own living, breathing thing. It just doesn't exist. It doesn't really have eyes. It doesn't really have lips. And you keep creating them and building them out, and you get credit. You get money. You get lines of credit. You get discharge rights that you won't get on the personal side, because on the business side, like I stated earlier, you get way higher lines. You want to touch six figures, go on the business side. Listen to what we're telling you and start learning about EIN. Start learning about Dun and Bradstreet. Start learning about these things, because it will change your life, because it's all private. You're basically setting yourself up as a private bank, and you're hiding under the auspice of credit and the laws that protect you through the FCRA on the business side and also on the business trade practices side. Because all of the laws are the same. If you look up a law in Florida, it's the same law, just maybe worded different in South Carolina. That's how they are so uniform. All of the legislation is the same. If you file in federal court, you're going to one thing, the CFR. That's the chief financial rules for all of that. It's not going to change from state to state. Now, there may be some nuances, but they're very minor. So this is how this stuff works. We have to just figure out a way on how to educate you better or more simplified, so it's all systemized into one way of thinking, because it's a lot to take in, especially when you don't know this stuff.
So one of the things here, it says, if your trust is private, it's not filed anywhere, correct? So that's true to a degree, because you want to keep your main things. And like I said, without knowing what you want to put in there, how you want to move, this is just a general answer. But you want to keep your key things private. But if you want to be somewhat private, you can expose a separate, different trust to the public side. Okay. But you don't want to put everything in the trust and everything in one. You don't want to use your same legal name for that particular trust. And, you keep certain things private. So your private side would be you as a state citizen or a national of the United States, American national, however you want to say it. That is where you are acting as beneficiary in the United States, where you are their boss. But when you accept the legal name, you demote yourself from being a chief executive officer to being the janitor of this corporation. All right. So keep some stuff private. And if you can specifically create a trust to interface with the public, so that one you're exposing while keeping everything else private. That's just how I look at it. Somebody can, express how they feel or what they want to do or what they have done. But that's how I've come to know it. I'm not a trust expert. That's why I have I've been sending people either to Floyd or to, my cousin or whoever else who are better at it than me. Because if I need something, those are the people I'm going to.
The most smoothest thing you can, in my opinion, you can do if you don't trust and you're trying to keep it private is you want to have a foreign trust set up that they don't have jurisdiction in their courts to get to. And I would keep Federal Reserve notes matters out of that trust personally. You can, there's multiple ways to do that. You can do gold and silver is a great option. If that trust just deals in gold and silver, all transactions are completely private. So that would be one thing I would recommend doing. I wouldn't recommend putting cards in the trust that you're making payments on. You know what I'm saying? That's called public interest. Look in the Black's Law Dictionary and see what public interest comes up. And it'll tell you exactly, how the private gets encroached by the public when you bring things in like that. If you're doing like transactions and, you're taking Federal Reserve notes, IRS has the ability to tax those transactions. Now, there's ways you can set it up so that you don't incur a tax. That is true. But like I said, the easiest way to do in the beginning, if you're pretty much new to that, is to basically not bring any public things into that trust, such as Federal Reserve notes.
Absolutely.
Trust that they're public and private. I ain't got I I don't really operate with the foreign trust mainly. I deal with the religious trust, the 508c1a trust, not the 501c3. It's a 508c1a, so it's under religious exemption. But sometimes when I file some of those trusts, it's actually like public and private. It's only public in the sense that I go get an account for it. So I have two different documents that are the same documents with only one line changed. One says public commerce is allowed, and the other say public commerce is not allowed. I take the one that say it's allowed to the bank. So they scan that in and give me an account. They send it to their little lawyers and attorneys while I'm sitting there. And then they say it got approved. You feel me? Then they let me go. But if I was ever to get in any court situation, then I would never show them the public one. They would never get the one that said there was public. That was only to open the account, like literally. It's really a private trust, though.
Education and entertainment. Individual results.
Here. Yeah,
And on that note, I gotta go.
Hey, yeah.
I want to show you
But
guys.
I don't never have to file taxes. I don't never have to do any of that because it's under a 508c1a in the first place. So you can't make a church file taxes.
Right,
That's
right.
just what it is. So anything a church bring in, the church can keep. And I don't own none of it. And it's a private trust at that. So you don't ever got to tell nobody who the beneficiary is. They don't need to know any of that business. They don't need to know anything that's going on in your trust because it's your fiduciary duty to protect that information.
Facts.
You are under contractual obligation to protect that information. So who are the trustees? Don't worry about all that. I can't tell you all that. Who is the trustor? I can't tell you all that. Who's the beneficiary? That's private information. It's your contractual obligation. You would be breaking your contractual obligation, breaking the law if you was telling them this stuff. You feel me? Especially if the beneficiary is underage. Now you really have no business know who the beneficiary is, who the trust actually belongs to.
Hey, also too, and depending on where you open your trust at, if it's foreign or out of the country, they can't even access it unless it's through the FBI or through like some crime you committed. So you have privacy in certain countries as well. So they can't even access it unless you broke a law. You know what I mean? And you a fugitive or something like that. So you have a lot of protection with that.
Well, this is how wealthy people set their kids up to be straight no matter what. They set up trust funds and trust because they're like, no matter what happens to me, I know this money's still going to my children. I know this stuff is still going to my children. And that's why people nowadays with this information, you will be a fool to write a will. Oh, I'm going to write a will. Then you got all your kids fighting over it. And then the will, they charging your kids just for taking your stuff. Now that you did, they charging a tax on it, inheritance fees, all type of stuff, inheritance tax, when you could just put it in a trust and they'll just transfer right over. No problem. You feel me? So you'd be better off
or anything.
Trust before putting in the will.
Yeah. Hey, Floyd, I think you were trying to say something. Go ahead, Floyd, jump in.
Oh, I was showing you the difference between your names being spelled. My passport, of course, is all capitals from the Department of State. And then I showed you my tribal ID from the Muskogee Creek Nation, where it's spelled in proper grammar, because that's how I told them to spell it, because that's what I had it changed to. So that's the difference.
You could also do, I actually applied for the World Citizen Passport too. And you can actually do the same thing on that. You can do upper and lowercase appellation.
I did that. I bought one, bro. It did not work. I tried to get into Colombia with it last year. The dude, like, I gave it to him at the thing. He just was like, he kept looking at it. He went to a buddy to the right, had him look at it. He took a picture of it because he never seen it, and they would not stamp it. So if I wouldn't have brought my regular passport, I wouldn't have got through the country. Just giving you FY, just to give you FY, I bought the whole package. I bought every doc that they had. I even got the international permit thing too from AAA. I got that right here.
Yeah, buddy.
So so I'm into this. I have all of that stuff, bro. Don't waste your money on it.
The World Passport, I did a research study on it, and essentially it will work in some countries if they feel like it, that is listed on the site.
Yeah.
Any country can take it, but they don't have to, because it's still yet a private document issued from that particular person and wherever they're located. Now, I will give you this tidbit. and as education. A lady, I won't mention her name, one of my viewers and clients, she told me that her family was all military. She said only the military had the passports the way we're doing them. She said that was always an officer of the state to get one of those. She goes, we to this day, she goes, until she's seen my channel about getting on the do not detain list, she said her and her brothers have always used, get this, their birth certificate after it was authenticated and apostilled. They said that is your birth document. That is your document as a private, natural person. And she said they have gone all over the world with it. She goes, so, sure, sometimes people look at it, but she said that is your right to travel as a private person. It proves who you are, and it's good in all the jurisdictions, private and the federalized system.
So I have to just get that apostolized one from the state notarized. That's it. That's what you're saying, and I could travel with it.
That's what she told me. I have not done it because I haven't gone anywhere in years, but she said that, and she's like 72, like she's certain, and she said she's always used. She said she's never had. The only reason why she's getting a passport now is because she heard that what we're doing is putting people on the do not detain list, and she said she heard about it through the military. So people are talking like, okay,
what the military is talking about that?
Bro, you already know how they watch my channel, so
that's wild.
Hey, and one more thing with the world passport, a problem that you'll have with it is when you actually are in the airport or you're going out of the country, they're gonna try to scan it like they do a regular passport. And what I notice is those passports come with 8 digits, and a real passport has 9 digits. So you're gonna get a beep, and it's gonna not turn green. It's gonna stay red. They're gonna keep trying to slide it, and it's gonna be beep beep. They're gonna be like, "Sir, ma'am, step over here to the side," and then you gotta explain your document and stuff like that. It's not worth it. It's just go with a passport.
I was more or less just thinking about grabbing it just to have something else. You know what I mean, as an identification. Besides, if you wanna, let's say you out there traveling and you already put your documents in with the chief of police or whatever, and you just say, some people might say, look, I don't want to deal with no U.S. passports. I don't want to deal with none of that. I'm just going to carry this world citizen passport and travel in my private automobile. You know, you give them a copy of it, upper and lowercase appellation.
And the only good I can see really in getting the world passport, if you choose to do this, but there's much cheaper ways to do the same thing, is if you want to use it here and get your given name and have your given name on it, you know, your appellation or your ecclesiastical name, faith name, whatever you're going to call it, and start building things off of it here. I would not rely on it for my sole thing traveling, unless you go into the specific 12 states outside the United States or 12 countries that it lists on the site that other people have been successful with. But even then, I wouldn't do it with having the option of having a USA passport myself.
Yeah, and another thing too, for example, like I'm dealing with this company called expat.co. So for example, I'm applying for a 2-year retirement visa. So when you apply for visas in a lot of these countries, it comes with, like, I'm going to Colombia, so it's a cedula, which would be a license. So a lot of times when you apply for a visa, you get a license from the country, because a lot of people don't know that when you travel, you should always get a visa, because that 2-year visa that you have, that counts towards your residency, because some of these countries you need 5 years or 4 years to get dual citizenship. So like in Colombia, it's 5 years. So you got to renew your visa 3 times. But that whole time, all 2 of those years are counted towards your overall residency credit points. So then that way, at the end of that, you get full residency, which comes with its own benefits, because now you can get international credit through that country. Wherever you're living in, UK is the same way. It takes 5 years. So you got to live there on a visa, and a digital nomad visa doesn't count towards residency credits. So that's something to know. So you're gonna get a license. So you'll have an actual identification. You don't even have to worry about that when you actually travel. So you don't need any of those documents. You just need your passport and maybe a copy of it when you're just, out and about in a country or whatnot. If you're going to do that type of travel, because they give you the documents. You're a citizen. You're working towards being a citizen in any country you choose. And you still can hold your nationalism here and or citizenship here. So you have the duality anywhere around the world, not just credit, not just what we're talking about. It's through citizenship. You can live in 4 or 5 different countries and have citizenship all there. And there's nothing nobody could do about it because you're under different laws. You're under United Nations laws and you're under EU laws or wherever laws you're at. So it's a lot of benefits to this stuff because I think that we're gonna all crack the code on this when you start traveling. When you go through the actual national process of becoming a citizen somewhere else, that's going to probably teach you so much about the process here that you don't know because you were born a citizen. So that's going to always be hidden from you to a certain degree. But a foreign person could tell us way more about the whole entire process of becoming an American or a national than any book we could probably ever read because they physically seen the docs. They had to sign it. They spoke and sat down with an agent. The same thing you do when you go to the consulate somewhere else. So you know it's just a lot of knowledge to gain here and abroad too because they like the stuff that we're having difficulties getting here, it just opens up there because because it's the same thing. Like you come under, like for example, if I wanted to go to Colombia, I could come under a corporation. My corporation can own Airbnbs in Colombia right now, and I don't have any residency in the country, and I don't have to be a citizen, and I don't have to be on a visa. Matter of fact, I can put you in contact with a real estate agent. You could own a property for 120K, a penthouse, rent it out as an Airbnb, never step foot in the country, but your corporation owns it from America. And all you do is just file one dot. You just file a foreign entity to bring your entity into that country, which would be a foreign registration. You could do that in any state in the United States. Like if I wanted to take my court, like matter of fact, just to give you a strategy. For example, like I wanted to apply at Citizens Bank. Citizen banks don't have a bank in Florida. So how did I get around that? Okay, so my corp was in Florida. Everything was set up on the internet. I paid $200. I found a company. They filed the 24-hour foreign registration. Now I got a New Jersey address. Now Citizens Bank is located out of New Jersey. I'm in Florida, but now because I have that address, I can now apply because now I'm a resident foreignly in New Jersey, even though I'm from Florida and I'm never going to New Jersey. So then I got a $25,000 business card from that, but I never left Florida. My court is in Florida, but I'm doing business as in New Jersey. That's what the power of a foreign registration is. And it's the same thing you could do abroad or in any country. Certain countries have different provisions. Like Philippines, you can't own property as a foreigner. Thailand, you can. You know, you got to look up each country, and you could do that right now with just an EIN. You could have Lovett International Real Estate. You know what I'm saying? And you're just buying property from here, but you own it in a whole nother country. And that corporation has never touched foot or did any business or made one dime of the jurisdiction here. And a lot of times you can actually you can actually not pay taxes either because in certain countries, you only have to pay taxes if you physically make money in the country. So example, like if I had a corp, huh?
Like Monaco.
Example, like if I had a corp in Florida, but I use Montana for my corp. So I'll make a Montana corp, but I'm making money in Florida. But I don't have to pay any state tax to Montana because I didn't make $1 in there. So I would only have to pay sales tax on all of the profits I made in Florida through my e-commerce store. So I would never pay Montana anything. So I never have to file any taxes in Montana. So anything that I have here, I can change my filing in any type of way. So if I want to go from an LLC to an S corp to get better savings, I can, or to a C corp, or to just a sole entrepreneur, where you can get additional tax breaks and write-offs. So you can structure these things any type of way when you like have them, or you're actually making profit, or you actually have a vision of what you want to do, because it's a lot easier than you think. It's really just signing your name, your social, and you're requiring minimal documents. Like example, to get a visa, you're just doing an FBI report, you're getting fingerprints, you pay $18, and you pay the fee for them to do your visa. That's it. And now you're 3 years away, or 2 years away, or 5 years away from being a resident. And that's it. And you register with the consulate. So when you come to these countries, they know that you're there. You're already registered with Travel State. So the embassy already gets an alert as soon as you touch down. And so now you're just traveling. You're protected, and you just travel the world with travel insurance. That's it. Like I could show you a website right now, bro. You can get a whole entire travel insurance policy to travel around the world, cover you for $1 million. That includes your dental, vision, everything. Your COVID, anything happens to you. It's $1 million policy and it's $560 for the year. And you're covered in any country in the world. Any country in the world. Period. And it's through Lords of London in England.
I heard about that.
Yeah. And I can show you this right now. And I can show you several of these companies that are in the EU that offer these policies, bro. And they're open to Americans. I'm buying one on December 1st. So I mean, it's not as difficult as we think. When you travel, you're gonna see a whole nother world. That's when this stuff is all gonna click, and it's gonna make a lot more sense to you, because trying to figure out here, we're going through so much mess, we're trying to find a needle in a haystack. But when you go to another country, it's like the red carpet is out for you. Oh, you're American. Oh, okay. And then they walk you through the process. So now when you know the names of those documents foreignly, you just go and look for those same docs domestically. You get what I'm saying? Because they're gonna be the same, bro. There's no way that they could be this uniform if they don't all communicate. They all have a system. It's all the same. It's on the same line of communication. It's just hidden from us, the terms. So imagine if we knew one keyword, imagine how much more information that would open up for us. But see, we don't know it. So, you know, it's like I want to go through bankruptcy just to contact the treasurer, because I got some personal questions I want to ask. How do I do this without bankruptcy? I know they're not going to give me that answer, but at least I'm talking to that department that knows the process. You get what I'm saying? That's how we have to attack them. We have to go inside, and we have to attack them from inside and outside. We got to attack them from all angles, because they're sneaky, they're crafty, they're slithery. You know
so
what I'm saying?
Eli, we got a couple people asking if there's any way you don't have no side email people can get a hold of you.
Yeah, I mean, I have an email, but it's just I'm not launching some of my products yet. But if they want to contact me, I'll give them my email if they want to contact me.
All right, because people
or
are
like because they have credit questions, things like that. They could contact me. It's I don't know how to type in here. It's not giving me an option to type in the chat.
On the right side, it should say post a comment. You gotta click comments.
Mine isn't giving that. I just got private chat comments. Maybe I have to be logged in, because I see the chat, but it doesn't give me an option to type anything. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna send it to you private, because it lets me do that.
Yeah,
and then you just share it with them.
Or if you want to say it, I can just type it in. Then
I got it. I'm sending you private, and then you just share it.
All right.
I just sent it to you.
All right, I'll post it.
Huh?
That was some heat, man.
Fire.
Well, I mean, it's what I'm doing, because I mean, I lived there for a year, so I came back like November of last year, so I was there from 2019 all the way to November 2020. So I lived there a year, and I learned a lot, because I was listening to James, I was listening to this other guy. You know, we're all trying to get that diplomatic status and all of that. There was this other lady I had found, like Empress Bay, Nettie or some crap like that.
Empress Bay. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I didn't know if I wanted to mess with her. Then I found James, and I had bought not an affidavit. There was another thing that he had. It was like the notary presentment type of thing or something like that. I had bought, and I liked his information, so I just stayed following him. And then as he grew, I'm like, you know what? I think me and his brother could work, because I got some information. I know how to do some stuff, and then y'all know how to do stuff. This could be a great team, because I'm a knowledge junkie, man, and I have some information, and I'm not gonna stop learning, because I'm determined. My mission is to fight these people, man. I don't like these people, man. They're crooks. They're Satan, bro. These people are the devil, man, and they're doing some real wicked stuff, man.
Those people want to get a hold of Eli. I know originally he said he wasn't going to do this, so y'all need to really hit that like button and get those likes up and appreciate this man.
Is subscribe.
Stepping out a little bit to help out the pack here. One of the fellow.
You should have 224 likes before you get that email out, man. make it work for it, yo, because this is some heat.
This is how you get a hold of the man right here. Please do not waste his time. You know,
and one more thing too. Next year, I'm gonna treat everybody to some really private information. I'm gonna be teaching everybody how to sue these people. I'm going to teach everybody how to do a bankruptcy sue. If you want to sue for reinsertion of previous deleted material, I've been going back and forth. Should I charge? Just on my heart, man, I'm just going to give it for free. I'm going to give y'all everything. I'm going to give y'all pleadings. I'm going to give y'all discovery. I'm giving you everything that you need. I'm talking for free. I'm not even charging you, but I'm going to teach you how to do it. I'm going to have a whole video course. I'm going to go step by step. There's no way you can mess this up. You just got to believe in you. I'm going to give you every single thing. I'm talking about any rebuttal that they could come up with, every question you should ask, how to ask it, how to manage your interrogatories. I'm giving you everything that a lawyer would never give you, never, because they don't want to. They don't want to compete with you because they don't do crap for you. I'm gonna teach you if you get into a car accident, how to sue. Don't even hire them. If you live in the state of Florida and you get in a car accident and you go and get an epidural shot, your case is worth 50 grand. You don't need them to talk. They don't do crap for you. All they do is do a promissory note and wait to the end of your treatment, and then they hand out and they get it there in the pot. You can call you. All you're going to do is talk to the insurance auditor. All you need is two pieces of information. You just need to know how much their policy is worth and what is their bodily injury. And once you know that, it's game over. And then you build your case by going to your appointments, getting them epidural shots, because that's what's going to pay you continuously. And that's all that they're doing. They're just negotiating off of a policy that they already have. And I'm going to teach
I
y'all
don't know
all
about any shots right now, bro.
Eli, let Floyd jump in there. Go ahead, Floyd.
Sorry.
Yeah. And I did this, and all your attorney's going to do is sign a surety guarantor letter. That's it. He's not going to put out any money. He's going to sign a letter. Yeah, because they've already been doing business, so they have a relationship. So they know they're going to get paid. So
it's the biggest scam of Dr. Floyd. It's the biggest scam. You know what I do? All I do is call 1-800-ASK-GARY because it's a lawyer referral service. So but it's also a doctor referral service. So you call 1-800-ASK-GARY or 1-800-ASK-TONY, whatever it is in your city, right? They're gonna put you with a doctor that's with the games. So, and because they're already in cahoots with the lawyers, they're gonna refer you to a lawyer. But you don't have to sign up for that. Just go to the appointments because they have to see you, because your insurance is going to cover you for $10,000. That's why you should always have bodily injury on there, because now your insurance covers 10,000 of that. Now you're building your case. So now they're either going to allow you to see a doctor privately to get the epidurals, or they're going to want you to have an attorney, and then they're going to want a promise letter on there to know that they get paid, because they know that that's where the big money's at. So if you got a private doctor or a doctor that'll do the epidural or will refer you all of the way, like say like Jack's Pain and Spine or something like that, just to throw out a company, then you golden. If you get those epidural shots, your case is worth 50,000, and the average policy has 100,000. And all you got to do is go for like 3 to 4 months or till you get better, depending on the severity. And once you get released, you just send over that information to the insurance adjuster, and then y'all gonna get on the phone. Hey, the policy is 100,000. If your case is worth 50,000, hey, I want 50,000. I want 40,000. And then y'all gonna meet somewhere in between, and you getting a check cut in 24 hours, and you did it yourself. You empowered yourself. That's what this is about. It's not about someone always doing everything for you. We have to learn together, but you have to learn for you. Because if we're given knowledge, that means we've learned it. That means we've earned it. You got to earn it too. Pay your dues. If you got a teacher that's giving you the game, at least be a student and study the game, because that makes you a better player. I can't put you on the field if you don't know the plays, because you're going to make us get a turnover. You understand? That's what we're talking about here. You know, we got to wean you on the milk to give you the meat, because you don't got it, but you want it. So if you want it, then show it, because it's there. The knowledge is there, but it's going to still require effort. I can't go to court. I can't talk for you. I can't do an email for you, but I can tell you what to say, but you got to still hit send. You know, so that's what this comes down to. You know, this is information. I mean, we can go up here and tell you a whole bunch of things, but it's going to go through your ear and right out the other, because you don't know how to do it, and then you're going to be too scared to do it. So, you know, just y'all stay. I'm gonna stay in contact with James. I give y'all my word. Trust me, I'm gonna be releasing a lot of this, and I would like to see a lot of y'all join, subscribe, and then we just build this community for all of us. All of us are taking time out of our days. All of us are learning. You know what I'm saying? But something is about to change. It's time to take the fight to these people. It's enough being passive. I'm tired of that. It's time to fight. These people need they rear ends kicked. I'm trying not to cuss, James. Sorry. But they need a foot.
Trying to
Make
monetize.
them poop legal briefs for all I care. You know, because
Yeah.
I hate these people. I hate these people, and I'm also going to show proof as well of my lawsuits, of my settlements. You want to see checks? I'll show you checks, 14,000 from Equifax. I can show you checks from security companies that I've sued. I can show you TransUnion, Experian. I can show you checks from other people. The bankruptcy's deleted, insertion's gone, student loans gone. You can beat these people, and there's a way to set it up once you learn the law. Once you know the law and you understand how to interpret the law, interpretation is everything. Interpretation is going to give you the best education. Trust me on that. Because when you know what they should be doing, then you can structure letters on what they should be doing. Now, in essence, you're setting them up for the okie doke. And believe me, they're gonna take a hook, line, and sinker every time because they don't care. They're so brash. They tell you publicly. I could take y'all to their website right now. They tell you that they illegally report. They tell you that they get third-party information and they report it against you. That's illegal. And on top of that, the third-party
Identity
source
theft.
that they're taking it from you, they tell you on their website that they don't even match the information for them. So they're giving them unmatched information because if you don't know anything about this system, everything is dealt with matching. That's why they ask you for your numbers, your address, that matches to you. So when Brother James was talking about changing it up, change your name, change your address. I'll give you a cool strategy. Go to a website called iPostal. For $10, you can get any address you want. You could be wherever you want. Then you can go that same day that you got that address. Once it reports and you know it reports on your credit report, you could then go to the credit bureaus, call them each one by one. Hey, I never lived at this. This doesn't match to me. This is not me. One letter can change a whole lot of things on your credit report. 2 letters off can change a whole lot of things on your credit report. Just hint, if you're listening to what I'm saying. You know, it's a matching game. It's a matching game. Remember when you played it as a kid? If they can't match you, then how can they identify you? Ding, ding, ding. Ding, a ding, ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. If they
I will
can't match you,
definitely
they
drop.
can't do nothing.
I will definitely drop one story. I've already told this story back when I was 19, so this was a long time ago. The short version of this is when I first won my first case, it was due to the fact that the officer had wrote the date on there different than the actual date that it was. He said it was a Wednesday when in fact it was a Tuesday. That's all it took. I had 20 other things listed on my rebuttal sheet to fight them. All it took was that one thing. And the prosecutor's like, nope, we're done. He's like, that's fraud. He's like, I can't beat that. He's like, have a good day. That was it. And every time after, either I found the fraud, I found the weakness, I found the remedy, whatever it was, I found that which made it fraudulent at the end of the day or not perfected. If your name or whatever else, educational information only, isn't spelled identical to what is listed, that's why they at the bank, when they ask you for your loan, is this the correct spelling of your name? Is this your address? So if my address happens to be 555 West Blueberry Lane, Suite 1, and they've got Suite 2 on there or no suite at all, that to me seems like a different entity, and that's fictitious. But I will just leave a little of that alone. That's all I'm going to say. Pick up what I'm...
Yes,
Yeah, that's a good point, James. You're right. It is it's exactly like you said. Exactly.
Right.
Hey,
let me
and
get a
all
little person.
Yeah, go ahead, Floyd.
Yeah, let me backtrack a little bit. Let's see, was it today or yesterday? I ran into this guy working counter somewhere, and I showed him my passport, my book, a number on there to put it in the system. It's having trouble, and he mentioned, he goes, "Oh yeah, I used to work out at the airport." And I go, "Oh yeah, TSA agent, huh?" He's like, "Yeah." I go, "So you've ran a lot of these, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." So I gave him my card, and he's like, "Oh, okay, yeah." He knew right where the number was on the card. And I said, "Well, have you heard of a File 19 special?" And he looked at me. He's like, "No, what's that?" And I go, "It's a do not detain, do not stop, do not interrogate, lifetime concealed carry license." He goes, "Oh, that's military." I'm like, okay. So you never heard it out of the context of the military? He said, "No." So that's one thing. Hip Hop Lit. he mentioned in here earlier about, I don't know, 60 posts ago, that the passport card represented a national, the book a U.S. citizen. And I'm sure that James will back me on this, that would be a misnomer. And I've yet to see a national passport card or book that actually says national on it. But I do have one of my subscribers and one of my enrollees in my class whose parents were born in Puerto Rico and have Puerto Rican passports. So I'm going to get with him Saturday and see what we're at on that, because I want to actually see one that says national on it, or somebody who was born in Puerto Rico.
That information is correct. After everybody started learning about this, and I learned about this through Colonel Von Wilson of Copper Moonshine Stills. He's the guru and the goat in this. He's a good buddy of mine now. He was saying how in the old days, the book, and I had one of the old books on the front cover where the secretary's salutation, it used to tell you to circle one or the other, U.S. citizen or state citizen on there, or U.S. national. They no longer do that because of what we're doing, essentially. But I was one of the first people, I'm just going to call it. I think I was the first person, because I've had other people on their channels, I won't bust them out, contact me to do consultations. And when they found out, I found the internal code for how to do what I'm about to tell you. It was on the internet, but you have to find the database and then find it within the database. So what it is now is that when you have the passport book, you can't do this with the card, which is why it's all in how you fill out the passport application. An explanatory statement is not mandatory, but it does help to educate you and the person who is reviewing your application. And when it gets finally processed down the line, to understand what you're trying to go for. So here's what it is. Everybody asks me how to declare themselves as a national or non-citizen U.S. national state citizen with the passport book. There's on the special endorsement page, nobody has an endorsement. Well, here's the gold. All right, here's the gem drop. If you go to the Foreign Affairs Manual, they have to have all of the information about your travel, your passport ID, the book, so that other countries can see how to deal with the information. They have to be privy to this. So it's not secret. It's just hard as heck to find. I found it. Okay, it took me about 2 months. Other people told me they've never found it in years. I was paid nicely to give this to other channels before I really even released the information. But that's behind the door stuff. Anyway, so the Foreign Affairs Manual contains all the information about nearly everything on or about the books and cards, and how operator to operator are supposed to deal with it. So your endorsement page, when you go to Foreign Affairs Manual, I forgot what section, I think it's like 700 or 800, you will find that it says on the endorsement page, you are to use 2 of these codes listed and it says write in there. You are to write. Now, I personally know that the 2 codes I use in mine are 09, which means a U.S. national or a national of the United States. That's their internal code. 08 means that the name on the book or in the card, I had that reversed, is a assumed name, meaning it is not you, because even the United States of America knows that name, though it looks like yours, is assumed. It is a fiction. It is a corporation, that you are wearing a death mask to allow it to represent you through alter ego. Okay? It's been validated. And if you go and see the code, which they probably will be changing this information soon, so I highly suggest you go and check out your Foreign Affairs Manual before it's changed, like they did with Cornell Law EDU 8 USC 1101-22B. Yep. You're going to find that it says in there, use only 2 of these codes. You are to write it, not them. That's why it's never in there, because it has to be your declaration about what your status is. That is your right. That's it. So, and you'll find there's all kinds of goodies in there about the card and the book that you're going to want to read. Foreign Affairs Manual, the FAM, type in FAM and then passport, and go see all of the goodies, and go enjoy that page or 2 of some interesting things. That's all I'm going to say. So all these people out there who were like, oh, they don't know what this, that, and the other things meant, and I've been telling you guys since day one, there's a reason why. That's all I'm going to say.
That's how David Straight's getting away with stamping passport books with the do not detain, do not stop,
That's
do not
it.
interrogate.
I'm not going to say which people or YouTube sites who paid me nicely to issue it back when I was like, I'm not going to put that information out a year or so or more ago. But if the shoe fits, all I'm going to say is, there you go. I told you guys I was going to be bringing you bits and pieces of it. There's still some things that cannot be said in the public, but the things that are, and see that's just public information. If you know where to look, that's it. I didn't hack anything. I don't do any of that kind of crazy stuff. Your favorite non-believer, non-combatant. I just read. Yeah. That's why they asked me to join. Well, never mind. We'll just. I'm pretty. Oh, and because I keep it real. Somebody was asking about the Bad Wolf logo. If you didn't know this, I don't care if this makes you unhappy. I am a Mason. I am a Knights Templar. I am Eastern Star. I am Royal Arch and some other things. If you don't like that, you don't have to be a part of my channel. Que sera. All right. But I don't hide anything. All right. I keep it all. If you want to know something, ask. You want to know anything about any of the fraternities I'm in? It's on the internet. Ain't nothing to be hidden there. And I'll tell you this, there are some good ones in the fraternities and there are some bad ones. And there's some things that are what we call clandestine. They do it because they like our logos and they just use it. We can't stop them because we don't know where all of them are operating. That's just the truth. So stop believing all that crap. All right. Like
you gotta drop the mic, yo. You gotta drop the mic. The mic drop. There you go. That's some heat. So y'all got me in here taking notes. Yes, sir. So, yeah, that's some fire though, man.
Yeah. How you doing? Finest thing. You've been kind of quieter there, man. What's good with you?
I'm just listening to y'all, man, soaking it up.
Yeah, they dropping a lot of heat, man. Hey, whenever they dropping heat like this, I just gotta listen.
Hey, I'm gonna just let them talk. But now I seen somebody talking about something though, and I forgot what exactly they said in the comments. But I was
they're talking about. That's what I was reading. There were some questions about iPost, so I'm gonna just touch on it. So
no, I wasn't talking about.
Okay,
but
okay.
I know this woman, and she had a kid, but she didn't get no birth certificate or no social security card, but she still got him a passport, right?
Yep.
And I'm like, how you do that? And she basically used a religious record, basically, because you can use a baptism record or you could use a family Bible or something like that. So it's a religious record, and they got to accept that as like an actual proof of birth. So she got a passport for her son, but he don't got no social security number. So for everybody that's trying to break free from the social security number, you can start by keeping your children free from that. You feel me? So they ain't got to go through this whole process in the first place. So what we doing,
Yeah, I'm telling you, boy, if I had a time machine, a lot of this knowledge I done applied, I would use on a lot of different applications. You know what I mean? But 100%, man. If you don't have a social security number, you're supposed to put all zeros in the box. That's what it says right on the directions. Now, here's the tricky part. Do you actually have a social security number? Do you have a social security number? When you were born, did God put a social security number on your ass when you were born? Or is it the legal fictions?
Well, remember, you were never issued one. Your parents were issued one that they then allowed you to use. That sounds to me like fraud because I'd never applied for one. Do you have my signature on file for that?
What about this? Real? What about this theory? What if the Social Security is your first access gateway to your trust because they give you credit and then they allow you to discharge it, and you could discharge every 7 to 8 years. Now, wonder why they cap you on the personal side, but you're uncapped, credit gone wild on the business side. It's interesting to think about. And then you create an EIN and you're just accessing what? What are you accessing? Because to access your money, like if you want to access credit on the business side, just create an EIN and build it with a bunch of trade lines. Just keep putting trade lines. Put trade lines. You'll go through every tier. Tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, all the way up to being able to walk on Mercedes and go get a fleet of cars. Now you're on Toro. I mean, this you can literally do this in 4 months. This is not a hard thing to do. Like, I mean, you got Gimpler, you got Uline, you got Granger. I mean, you got free information all on YouTube regarding this. It's just that is your private side. I mean, now the other aspect of private, I think one of the brothers said that he has a ministry. That is like really smart because as a ministry, now you can set up as a private bank through your trust. So if you set up your trust as a private bank, which is what they do all of the time, now you can get into like the medallion stamps. Now you can get into like really high level stuff because you can create currency now. Like for example, if you go to a website called a Mirror Lawyer, right? A Mirror Lawyer sells they sell corporations. They're a real law firm, right? AMERI lawyer, a Miri lawyer, right? They're a real law firm. You could go to Spiegel and Spiegel, whoever, right? They sell shelf corps. But not only that, they sell all of these different types of corps. For example, you could buy a corp with shares, but it's going to be done through a lawyer to where he's actually going to create bond certificates. So with a bond certificate, once you get those bond certificates actually like stamped by a medallion stamp, there's only X amount of people that have access to a medallion stamp. You got to actually go through the New York Stock Exchange to get a medallion stamp. Banks have them. You can really look this thing up. Wikipedia, it's a real thing, right? But once those stocks and bonds are like stamped and certified by someone with that bank medallion stamp, that's currency. That's currency. How do you think these businesses they bring on shareholders and then they sell stocks, the dividends, and that is real cash. So once you convert it into cash, you're playing with real money. So it's like, so it's not, I'm not saying not to try to access your bonds, but I'm saying create corporations and learn about stocks and bonds through your corporation because those can actually be monetized to real money. If you really have a real corp and you're making real money, you can turn those into currencies and they become assets. So I don't know if people really know about that. And you got law firms that'll set all of this up for you. That's why I gave you a Mary lawyers. They do this and they tell you on their website. This is just another nugget. You know, if you're, I mean, it just depends on what level you're trying to go to. And also, I
Well,
want to touch on this iPostal thing really quick. With the
yeah, hit it.
iPostal thing, just buy an address, and you can either change all of your information to that address. I think it was Marvin was the guy. You could change all of your information to that. They'll mail it to you from anywhere in the world, or if you pick a local location, you could drive to a local location and pick up your actual mail. You'll just have to sign the post office form that they'll give you, and you'll get that form notarized, and then they can accept your mail. That's all that process is. And
There
you
you
can use
go.
that address for your credit reports. You can use that as your information. So what you're doing in essence, Marvin, or anybody listening, you're detaching yourself from where you physically live at. So back to the early example of the lady that talked about judgment. If they don't know your address, they can't serve you docs. Because like with iPostal, it's going to be under JC Laboratories. So that's where all your mail is going to go to, right? I know this because I use them. So they're never going to be able to identify you. You can't serve a mail receiving corporation. They have to physically serve the person. So using that detaches you from your whereabouts. In essence, it makes you private, even though you're public to the world, but you're still private to where your information locates you at. But go ahead.
I actually like general delivery for that purpose. I keep it simple.
Hey,
It's up to you. I mean,
yeah, it's all
however,
on how you
I
want to
just
move.
I like to have my information mismatched on purpose. So when I go to clean my credit report, it's a lot easier because it's like, hey, I never stayed here. Because when you send,
Right.
because they ask you to send them your license, but my license says something different that you're reporting. You see the conflict? I just created that because I know psychologically that they match information. They match information through the CDIC. So when they're matching your information, it's not gonna match. And in their law, in the credit bureau, it says that if they cannot accurately report or match your information, it has to be removed, bro. So
Fire.
it's a very powerful method to do because they can only identify you by your last phone number, your last address, all of the misspellings of your name. When you actually pull up this information, you'll see so many different variations of, like, say you went and applied for credit at JC Penney's, the clerk might have say your name was Jamal hypothetically, but they spelled it Jaal. but there's
Yeah.
no M in there. That's
Yeah.
showing on your credit report because that's what the creditor reported to them. So they're thinking it's factual until you challenge it. The same thing that we've been saying about court, any law, any statute, child support, anything. You have to challenge it. That's all you have to do, because the minute you challenge it, they back down. But if
Hey,
you never challenge it, they stand up.
Hey, A6, we got a lot of people asking about the one girl says she got denied for general delivery. One person saying it's only good for 30 days. I know it too, but if you want to go ahead and field all the info on general delivery real quick, like.
Yeah, so yeah, in terms of the general delivery, I told y'all might be in a place where y'all might have to educate the trustees. I just had somebody comment on my channel. He did an update because ever since I started mentioning the general delivery service, people were asking me questions about it. So he says, yeah, I'm gonna go try that. So a month and a half goes later, he says, update. I went ahead and was actually able to get the 1527 form. And the first day I went in there, day after I watched your channel, all the people in there told me I was crazy. They've been doing it for 30 years. They'd never seen the form. And then they ended up giving him the form. They had to order. It took 2 weeks to get the pink form. And they were like, wow, I've never seen this before. This form is totally like new to me. I've never even seen it. He was like, yeah, but I told you I knew what I was talking about. So yeah, it is a fact. He was able to get the 1527 form. Now I was telling people the 1527 form is legitimately only if you want to get all your mail that's coming to your house rerouted to the post office to be picked up. And your mail can only be there 30 days at a time. If you want to use general delivery service, you can go right to the postal website. It tells you how to use it. You just basically put your all caps name. Let's say you go to a bank and say, I want to change my address because I don't live at the old place no more. They'll ask you what the new address is. You tell them the mailing address is going to be general delivery. You write it right there, and then you put the city, the state, and then the zip's going to pop up automatically. But that's where you're receiving your mail at. So when they start to send you mail, they'll start sending it to the post office instead. Then you'll notice on your credit, when you change it for credit cards, you'll see that just like my man said right here. When you change that address, the general delivery will actually pop up. Now, anything else from that, you can start to move around accordingly, however you want. But yeah, you can the general delivery, yeah, he says the general delivery can only be set for the main and yes, that is true. You have to make sure it is a post office that accepts general delivery. Not all post offices do it. So if it's one near you that does, then that's fortunate. If not, you're gonna have to do the thing where you buy a PO box, or like my man said, you have to do a go to ipostal.com and you can get a virtual address. So those are the ways you can move. But there's a lot of ways to move so you don't. It's just like when you were in the streets and you moving stuff. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say what it is, but you moving stuff around in the streets. You don't want nobody to know where you lay your head at. You know what I mean? Where you lay your head at is private. So you got to use different things in order to maneuver so that you don't attach where you lay your head with any corporations.
And you can use it longer than 30 days, correct?
Absolutely. General delivery, there is no limit. It says right on the bottom of 1527. It does not limit how long you can receive general delivery service, just how long you can receive that mail. So if you get the mail and it sits there for 2 months and you go back there that second month, like, yo, where's my mail? Just came back from Bora Bora. Oh yeah, we sent that back. Yeah, we returned that mail to sender. You know, then this thing can also come in handy when stuff, I'm not going to say what, but when stuff is being delivered to you that you don't want. Instead of you putting refused on it, you can tell the trustees to do it. Hey, look, I don't want this. You can send this back. Okay, they'll stamp it, refuse. And who's going to argue with the post office when something says refused? Now, I've actually been in situations where I wrote refused on mail and it got redelivered. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? What the hell are you doing? Why are you redelivering this? But if the post office says it's refused, that's the end of story. You know what I mean? So that's another bit of information for you guys. So yes, the iPostal will work. The general delivery can work. The PO box can work too. Some places specifically say do not put a PO box in this area. I'm sure we've all seen them. Do not write a PO box. Write a physical address. If you don't have a physical address, general delivery would be something you could use. Boom.
There it is.
Only legal fictions have addresses. So if you got an address, you a legal fiction. And everybody in here has a head, 2 arms, 2 legs. Everybody watching, well, hopefully, same way. You know what I mean? So
So let me. I just want to address the panel right now, real quick.
Go ahead.
We're at 2 hours. How's everybody feel? You guys want to do one more hour?
I gotta actually get ready to jet.
Where you think you going, man?
I know. I gotta get up off of here though, man.
General, go pick up your general delivery.
I gotta go pick up. It's 10:30 in Baltimore right now. So.
Okay.
I'll answer some credit questions if anybody has them. If not, then I'm willing to come on another day if people are interested or want to know more information. Because like I said, I'm gonna be launching next year, bro. I'm finna hit them in the face.
Okay.
Before y'all go, y'all still up on y'all traveling stuff, right? Private place, all that.
Yeah.
Oh, most definitely. It's a way of life. It's a way of life.
All right. So I came across somebody. He pulled a bold move. Like I almost want to pull it, but it's a bold move. Arguing on private.
Oh man, you skipping out down what you're talking
trial
about.
Or whatever. When it came down to the trial, he subpoenaed the attorney general of the state. He subpoenaed the attorney general of the state.
What happened?
Man, and they automatically dismissed everything. They didn't want him. They didn't want him to witness like what was actually going on, because he was arguing all that I'm traveling, not driving. There's no law that says we have to have our stuff registered and so on. So he subpoenaed the attorney general there, and they just dismissed the whole case. And the attorney general is the attorney for the whole state. He's like the head of all states attorneys, district attorneys, whatever.
Yep. Yeah.
So you saying he got subpoenaed? You said?
Yeah, the dude subpoenaed the attorney general there to argue his case with the attorney general there. Because he was going to question the attorney general. He was going to call him up on the stand like, okay, so about this driving and this traveling and about all this other stuff and about this nationality, they didn't want them to go there with the attorney general, so.
Yeah. They don't want to do all that. They just want to take their money and keep it moving.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't know. I was thinking about pulling it, though.
They pulled my card. I'm gonna pull the attorney general's card. How about that?
For real.
run. Tell that.
100%.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what we'll run out for another 30 minutes. 6. Whenever you gotta run, you can just go ahead and run. Floyd, finest thing, or Eli, feel free to jump in, answer some questions. We're going to open it up and kind of wind it down in the next probably 23 minutes. We'll call it 2 hours and 30 minutes then.
Yeah, I think somebody's asking some questions about discharging debt. Man, that's like a loaded question because there's no formal answer. I kind of spoke on it earlier. Really is something that the creditors do. Like how it works typically. You got to understand everything is business, right? This game is so fake. But typically how your debt gets 1099-C, right? Your debt will get filed as bad debt. So when the business files taxes, they report all of their bad debt to the IRS. So basically that 1099 is writing off a bad debt to balance out their books. So you'll just randomly get a 1099-C. Now what happens typically is if you made over a certain amount of money, then you have to claim it as income. If you made under a certain amount of money, then it just writes off. So if you made like over like 28 or 32,000, when I did it, it was like 32,000. So I had to claim because I wrote off 6,000 on the USAA as a discharge. They did it. They gave me a 1099-C, right? I could show it to you, show you what it looks like. They fill it out. They put their information. I actually I took screenshots of it because I got 2 of them. But what happens is they write that off. Now you're eligible, just like you would if you filed a Chapter 7, to go back and apply for credit with them. And they'll give it to you because your debt is canceled out. And it tells you this on the IRS form. But if you're thinking that you could discharge it with your house and there's some magic button, no. The other way to discharge it is Chapter 7, Chapter 13. Those type of methods are going to get you 1099-Cs. And that's pretty much it. There's not anything you could do. You could do it fraudulently in a sense, like say there was fraud. You could come under FCRA 605C, which is the fraud law that the credit bureaus will respect. So you can actually get open accounts closed. I did this method. I know for a fact it works, and I got the receipts to prove it. because you'll be like, well, how can an open account be fraud? It's all about what you say. It's all about you just saying it and challenging it if you go that route. I'm not encouraging it, but I'm just saying it does work. But you can also get a 1099-C because what the creditors do is they just clean their hands of you. All they're doing is just writing your bad debt off of their books. That's really all it is. That's all it is. They just put a fancy term on it, but at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. So when you're dealing with credit, you can either you can pay it, or if you're behind and you're just it's just like over for you, just stop paying it because it goes away after 7 years. So it just goes away. Or like I said, you could bankrupt. You can go bankrupt. I mean, either or, it's really not a bad choice because
You
either
can,
way it goes, you're gonna have to start over. You just got
you
to
can
be smarter when you start over with a strategy on how to move with your money and have a plan with it, which most people don't. Because if I gave you 100,000 right now today, what would you do with it? You know, most people are going to go buy shoes. They're going to go buy cars. They don't know how to invest. They don't know what's making money. They don't know Forex. They don't know internet marketing, affiliate marketing. They don't know these type of things. So really getting educated on what to do with money, what's working, what can I put it in would really help a lot of people go a long way because you're playing a fraudulent rigged game and it's going to always be like that. So you got to really, really learn how to play this because it's not real. Everything these brothers are spitting is so factual. And when you go through any process, whether it be credit repair or just filing a form just to see what they say, then you will see the truth. Then you will see a lot, because they're gonna show you. They're gonna tell on themselves. They're gonna reveal the truth.
I know for
The way
some,
I learned it, I didn't do the secure party, none of that secure party creditor, none of that discharging process. I did like an administrative process, but it's crazy because it used the FCRA and the FDCPA as well. So really, what you would do is just challenge the fact that you ain't got no contract with them, and this was really using like auto loans or credit cards or mortgages or something like that. So you basically be like, show me the contract. You know, you send them the letter, and then they don't reply in 30 days. That's a violation of the FCRA and the FDCPA. So then you would take them to court, and then you'd be like, show me the contract, and they will only bring a copy. You feel me? And they can't do that. They can't use a copy because that means you can make 100 copies of this, and everybody could be coming talking about you owe them. You feel me? So I want to see the wet ink signature. And even when, if they were even able to bring the original contract, which they never are because they have to send that to the Treasury anyway. They got to send that to the Treasury and the Federal Reserve. Once it go to the bank, that's where the bank sends it. A lot of people don't know that, but they have to send it there within 72 hours to the Federal Reserve or the Treasury. So they never have the original of these promissory notes or these instruments that they use, negotiable instruments or financial instruments, whatever you want to call it, right? So even if they were able to bring that forth, it would never have nobody from the bank signature on it. So therefore, it's a one-sided contract. It's not
unilateral.
it's a unilateral agreement. It's not even a contract between two parties. So that means you can change the terms at any time. You feel me? So that's how I was really getting on them. But now they start blocking that in state courts. But I think if you figure out how to handle yourself in federal court, that's where you're gonna see a lot of the wins at, because I was just doing it just to do it. Like, man, let me see if this stuff really works, you know. And I had did one of
Well,
these
the contract
banks,
part, the contract part doesn't work. But the second part of what you said, because what they'll do, because they're hip to that now. Because like I went to court for a default judgment, right? And I tried that, right? But they came and hit me with all of my MX charges that I made over the course and the life
Yeah,
of me
see,
having the charge.
I stay in
So
honor.
it
I stay in honor.
showed that.
I never defaulted.
No,
I
I didn't. No, I didn't default, but they were able to serve me, and I had to go to court to defend myself. So a judgment, because if you have to show up, so there's not a default judgment, so then your case gets tried. But what I'm saying is evidence, because they won't bring the contract. You're absolutely right, because they never signed it, so it's an invalid contract. But what they'll send is all of your transactions that you made with the credit card, which shows that you were in the possession of it. Is what I'm saying. So that's a counter. Now the second part of what you said, you spot on. If you want to back them down, file them in federal court. Period. Matter of fact, I'll even give you a poor man's way to do it. If you don't have the money,
That counter holds no weight though, because I could be doing
What?
my end of the
In
year,
federal court?
my end of the year accounting, and I see, hold on, I'm paying this, but I have no contract with these people. So I challenge
You're
it at
not
any
gonna,
time.
you're
That's the
not,
law
bro.
of the
You're not gonna,
FCRA.
bro. You're not gonna win on that contract law. You're not gonna win on that. How you're gonna beat them, bro?
But I already did though, is what I'm trying to tell you. You're trying to tell me about my
you beat them
situation.
on contract. You beat
Yes,
them on
I beat them
contract
on
law.
that. They erased the whole credit card, all that, off all the credit.
But did they
all
pay
the
you though? But I'm saying, did they pay you for their violation of the FCR? Did they give you a
Why
physical
would they?
check?
They supposed to pay you $1,000, but that's if you want to settle with them. They didn't settle with me. They just erased it, and then we just dropped the case because they said, "Oh, well, there's no account here to even dispute."
See, but
Yeah,
look, this
but
is why I
you were
say this,
mentioning
yo.
court. You were mentioning court though. I'm saying the process for court is different. So you just did that with the bureaus 101. You didn't actually do it in
What it
court.
was,
That's
you
what I
wasn't
thought
even
you were
letting me.
saying.
You didn't even let me get to my point. The point I was trying to make was, first they moved it to this is the point I was trying to make. They moved it to federal court, and then right before I was able to send anything back in the federal court to start arguing my side, they moved it back to state court. And then the judge was like, "Why did you move it to federal court and then move it back to state court?" And they said this right in front of me. The attorney for the bank right in front of me said he would have the advantage in federal court. That's what he told the judge. That was the point I was trying to make. All that other stuff, that was just building up to this point that I was trying to make.
Well, look, this the thing though. I'm gonna let him, because I want to hear what he got to say about the poor man's way. I'm gonna just interject this though. When you send a negotiable instrument and they dishonor the instrument, now you got them by the balls, because now you have proof that you actually discharged that debt. So even if you say you did have the card, yeah, you have all my transactions. That's 100% that. I'm not denying the fact I had the card. What I'm denying is that there's even a balance owed, because that debt was discharged when the instrument was received as per article was it Uniform Commercial Code Article 3. So like now you pretty much got back to, yeah, you have a bunch of charge receipts and stuff like that, but I'm not denying the fact that I had the card. I'm calling it fraud because you're saying that I owe something I do not owe. You see what I'm saying? That's the in between for that. So if it's a situation where you don't want to go in and do what he was saying, slide them that instrument, and then if they take you to court, as long as you got proof that it was delivered and you got a copy of that instrument, you good. Now I'm gonna I defer to you. I want to hear what you guys say about the poor
Yeah,
man.
and I wasn't trying to discredit what you were saying, brother. I just was trying to understand it because it's, I mean, it's not because they didn't provide the contract. It's just that your evidence was just greater than theirs. Because when you challenge them, period, on any violation, you're gonna win. And like that guy said, in federal court, you got the advantage. Like the example that I was giving was like synchrony. Synchrony will take you to court, right? I had a JC Penney's card. So I was giving the example for that. But if I actually sued them, I'm going to sue them in federal court, because what you said was like so spot on. Because with federal court, they can't, like, another thing I do just before I get to that point is when you go to court, always request a bench trial. Never request a jury trial. You know why? Because juries can be persuaded. You want it to be one-on-one with you, them, and the judge. You know why? Because they can't play games with the judge. See, the judge, you got to understand the power of the judge. And I'm not saying that you don't. I'm just saying that the judge is there to enforce the law. So when you got them on a violation of the FCRA, they can't get up there and kangaroo jump and hop all around and talk bullcrap and persuade a judge. Did you violate that? That's where your punitive damages come in. That's where your compensatory damages come in. That's where your willful non-compliance to the FCRA and the laws come in. So in federal court, you will always have the advantage. If you got one piece of evidence, man, file in federal court. Now, the poor man's way to do that, because that's where I thought you were going with it, which is a great strategy, and I'm gonna share it with y'all. Poor man's way is you attack for small claims, right? So because in small claims you're gonna pay, it depends on your state. If you want to sue them for 5,000 or 10,000, go for the max. Pay the 100, pay the 200, whatever it is, or whatever you can afford, right? If it's $100 and they'll let you sue for 5,000, do that, because typically when those lawyers get it, they're gonna remand. That's what happened to your case. They remanded to federal court. Usually they never remanded back to state. That was odd, but typically if they remove it from state and put it in federal. So what that does, and why I call it the poor man's way, is because the file in federal is going to cost you $400. So but you negate that fee because they pay it, because they're removing your case from state to federal. So now you're in federal court and you saved $400. You only spent $100. So that's why I was asking you, well, did they pay you? Because you had a case. That means that for every violation of your case and then every account that they deleted, that was $1,000 you left on the table. So at the end of the day, if they violated you on anything, you're supposed to get paid plus the deletion. They didn't do you a favor by delete, but they did you a favor by deleting it, but they undercut you by not paying. You get what I'm saying? That's why I was.
Any of these state cases go to trial. I've never seen it. I've never seen any of
They
those.
bro, they don't go to trial in federal, because if you're gonna win your case in discovery, that after you come out of that 26F conference, that's that 4 to 6 month period, that window, that's where you win your case. If you're going to trial, you did something wrong. You should be settling man. If I did your case, man, I'm settling your case in 30 to 45 days. The max that it's going to take me is 90 days, because that's where your case is won. Because you got to think trial is only like on a gigantic case, like the data breach that Equifax had a couple years ago. But like, just like private matters, like what the brother be saying, that's a private matter. They're going to settle with you. You know why? Because they can't risk you going to trial. And now all of that is on court record, because the court reporter is going to type every word you say. And when you got them in a violation on the FCRA, that's the last thing they want. That's why you don't see the transcripts of those cases, because they can't, because it will blow the whole sovereign community up. Everybody would know how to do it. That's why they keep it private. That's why they settle with you, because they know they effing you. That's all that I was saying.
Do you think that they would settle you in state court too, or you think it's got to be federal?
It's always going
to be federal. It's always going to be settled.
Win a case like that, it's always going to be settlement.
Yeah, it's always going to be settled. They're typically gonna take that matter to federal court. Pretty much every time that I sued them in state. Your case will not get tried, because the FCRA is a federal law. That's out of the jurisdiction of the state court. So they will remand your case to federal court free of charge. That's why I call it the poor man's way. You won't have to pay that $400, but you'll lose 30 days. But if you do it directly, like me, I just go straight down to the federal court, file it. So now my case is faster. So now they're on the clock. All I have to do then is just serve them. So once you serve them, that's it. I mean, you're in court at that point. And from there, it's all about how you explain the violations that they did. That is where you set them up at with your letters. There's certain languages that you want to put that's from the law that you want to put. They will violate it every single time, bro. Every single, I got it memorized. I put it on every letter that I have, because I know that if I want to sue them in 90 days, they're going to delete what I want and they're going to pay me every time. I've been doing this since 2016, bro. I can show you checks on checks on checks in my name, no lawyer. And then not only that, when I start teaching this, I'm gonna show y'all how to go to Google Scholar. There's a beautiful thing about Google Scholar. I have a PDF, right, that I'm gonna share with people of all of the landmark FDCPA cases that have won, not just against the bureaus, but against like Midland, against other creditors that you've heard of, Synchrony, all of these people, and how to get them. There's a really beautiful thing about Google Scholar that when you scroll down and you read these cases, this is why they don't want us in books. They don't want us in legislation. When you read these cases, they list the statutes on which the lawyers won the case on. All you do is go read the statute. They give you the golden key. And that's how I got so smart. I was reading these cases. I was reading like TransUnion and Clark, and I scrolled down to the bottom, and they have it in bold, brother. They'll put you in the sections that you need to be in to defeat them, because these cases have already won hundreds of thousands. They didn't won 350. They didn't won 100,000, 200,000. You shooting their heads off because you got all of the bullets in the gun. They have no ammunition. You can't shoot without bullets. And it's so powerful, bro. It's so powerful. That's how I'm able to do it. And then once you know the sections, bro, they can't F with you. Just for example, there's one section right now I can show everybody on here that is the responsibility of the creditors. There's a duty for them to report actual information. So when I was saying that matching stuff to you, if one thing is off, all of your information is inaccurate. If your name was Leroy and I call you Lee, are you gonna turn around? No, because your name is Leroy. It's not Lee. Who the hell is Lee? It ain't you. And that's all that I'm saying. So, but you're right though. The federal court is good though. The federal court is golden, bro. That's where you want to be. That's where you want to live on anything. UCC, credit, civil rights, anything. Go federal. Because the one thing about federal courts, unlike state courts, is if you make an error in court, the federal courts will direct you to the FCRP, which is the Federal Civil Code for Procedures, how to conduct in court, and you just read them. That's it. They're going to direct you exactly to it. They're not going to tell you how to use it or do it. That Federal Rules of Civil Procedures. There you go. It's a real thing. They'll guide you right there, and then you read. So like little things that I did, bro, I went all the way with this. I went on Upwork. I started looking at private attorneys, ex-attorneys, paralegals, and I got them to draft my documents so I could enter and I could come in professional, because there's certain things you got to do. Like when you submit a document, you got to have it 1.5 inches spaced, and it has to be on legal paper, and it has to be titled at the top. All of this type of stuff you learned in school. That's why they have templates for this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And once you start learning how to do this, man, bro, you're gonna be cutting their head and kicking it down the road like it's tumbleweeds, man, all day long, because they deserve it, man. They deserve it for this mockery that they're doing to the people, man. It's all of us are suffering from this, man. It's a scam. It's a scam, and the sooner that we keep saying that and waking everybody up to it, the better we're gonna all be as people, because these people need to be stopped, man. And we can only fight them through paper. That's why they said the pen is mightier than the sword.
Yep.
That's facts. That's facts, because they'll pay you $1 million just to shut the F up, and they'll sign that check real quick to you. So anytime you fire against them, bro, make sure you get paid, because they owe you reparations, and it's more than just 40 acres and a mule. They owe you every time they speak, because they lie. They lie every single time.
All right, gentlemen, we are at the time. We're about to shut it down. We've maxed out about 170 some odd people at the same time concurrently viewing. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Man,
we had more than that.
Did we?
Yeah,
I was lost,
like 270.
I was lost in conversation.
Yeah, yeah.
But all right, so I want to give everybody, first of all, a personal thank you from the Bad Wolf to each and every one of you guys. We will definitely do this again. I can tell by the comments that people are man, they're loving this. So we'll start off with A6, and then kick it over to Eli, and then Finest Thing, then Fearless Floyd, and then I'll finish it up. And just say your last pieces, say how people can get a hold of you, what your YouTube channel is, say your piece. And then we are going to wrap it up for tonight, but we definitely will be doing this again, because they want it, and we're going to bring it. I know we've been using this stuff, and we're sharing it. And if we can set a lot of little fires, guess what? Those ain't easy to put out. So go ahead, A6, let you kick it off, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yes, indeed. It is A6, the foreign national born natural. You know what time it is. You know what rhyme it is. I will be live and direct, live in effect, Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is the tag on YouTube. If you like what you heard tonight, please head over to that channel. Hit that subscribe button. And, we can get busy when we go live. A lot of these guys appear on my channel, and we have open forums just like this. I go into this stuff, and I go into a lot of things that are happening in the news, international. You can also get on there, and I'll give you the link to the Foreign National News Network, which is the Telegram group. We share a lot of this kind of knowledge in there too. A lot of great minds in there. Great minds think alike. Steel sharpens steel. So everybody's bouncing information off each other to get the best results possible. So please, if you are interested in that, hit that subscribe button, and that's it.
All right, and don't forget, A6, go ahead and drop info on your Cash App, because we're wolves, so we eat together. You know what I mean? So go ahead, put it all out there where you want to share. Hit it up. That's how we get it done.
Yes, indeed. I'm putting it here right now. Let me go ahead and share that. So that is the Cash App. If you do donate, it'd be greatly appreciated. I am trying to get a heavy hitter with credit to jump on the YouTube channel and give you the ins and outs. So I'm going to need to do a Goku, and I'm going to need to put my hands up, and I'm going to need y'all to send me your energy, whatever you guys have, because I'm sure I haven't talked to him in terms of price yet. We're still negotiating when he can come on. But whenever that happens, I'll be able to use some of that to go ahead and try to mitigate the damage so I can bring y'all that Class A information. I know y'all like what y'all heard here tonight.
Mhm.
All right, all right. Eli, it's on you, good brother. Let's bring it in.
Thank you, everybody, for having me on the panel. I enjoyed listening to everyone. I hope some people learned some stuff. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna be coming out with something soon next year. I will have a channel, and I will let you know what that channel will be. You have my email, so if you want to share it with people, if they have other questions or whatnot, I will answer some questions for people to help them out. But like I said, next year, y'all can expect to see my face a lot. And I'm going to be teaching you guys how to sue, how to do this. I'm going to give you everything that you need. And I'm going to be there for you for consultations. And I'm going to also provide software that's going to help you with the business credit that I'm personally going to be paying for myself. So that's all coming February around March. Y'all should hear my channel. I'm not going to list the name of it now, even though I have the name, but I'll just let you guys know. And that's it.
All right, and
you can
Eli,
share my email if you want to, bro.
Yeah, Eli's information, emails is right down here. It's in the chat, and it's also on the screen right now. And then with that being said, go ahead, find his thing, and then Fearless Floyd, we'll wrap it up.
Look, man, it's Finest Thing Walking, man. That's my YouTube. That's my Instagram. Email is finestthingwalking1@gmail.com. But I'm on Instagram more. You catch me on the tube more too as well. I pay attention to my comments and my live streams and all that. But I got a lot of stuff coming for y'all too. I got the trust coming for y'all. New info. I got a lot of stuff on the federal court processes too, because I feel like that's important. You feel me? And even bad wolf talking about that a lot. We really need to understand the federal court process and not be scared of federal court, because I feel like that's where a lot of our remedy lies. So that's what I've been for the last year. That's what I've been focusing on. Really, that's why I ain't even been talking about it much, because I just didn't want to make sure I got all my stuff in order and I know what I'm talking about. You feel me? So yeah, check me out, man. I got a lot of stuff coming. Check my YouTube out again. That's Finest Thing Walking. Just type that in and then pop right up and holla at your boy, man.
All right, Fearless Floyd, I got your info popped up down below, but go ahead and field it in, and then I'll bring it home and we'll wrap it up. Man.
All right. Again, thank you for this opportunity to be able to be a guest on your show. Thank you to all my co-guests. And Eli, definitely, boy, you got some fire under your belly. So yeah, yeah, that was a great show, by the way, guys. The Fearless Floyd show. I'm pretty much that across the board: Rumble, BitChute, YouTube, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, and Telegram, as well as TikTok. And I'm gonna try to master. Got a VCR class, voucher, coupon, remittance. If you don't know what that is, go to my website or go to my Telegram, check it out. Got a trust class coming up. Obviously, Finest Thing Walking has a trust program too. I wasn't aware of that.
You probably doing a 498, huh?
No,
something
I'm
like
not
that?
doing foreign. I'm using Ann LaFleur's trust process. And, I would like to, do some little things different, but it's her process.
See,
So
we all got
says,
different trusts, and that's a beautiful thing. You feel me? Because people got options,
exactly.
and on top of that, they can get them all, and then find an even better way. So yeah, that's a beautiful thing. Ain't no competition here.
No. Well, you have foreign trusts, and I'm not focused on foreign trusts at all. We're doing revocable trust, just the basic fundamental. So you're a complement, actually. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So we can all work together. This, we're competitive, but we're not in competition. We're working together for a common goal. I am working with my co-producer, Jesse. If any of you guys know anything about the legacy birth file number or understand what that is, we're also working on a process to obtain a certificate of live birth from the state for our fraternal twin who was stillborn. So we have the two entities. So yeah, that's what we went up to Austin. That was one of the things that we were trying to do. I also, I guarantee you, after I left, I turned that office upside down because I showed the clerk on a birth certificate the American Banknote Corporation and the border. And then when she gave me my dad's death certificates, I said, look down there by your thumb in that blue border. What's that death certificate say? And she's like, She looked at me. She goes, "Oh my God." I'm like, "Yeah, exactly." So I broke it off to her, and I guarantee you, she went and told every other clerk in that little office in Austin what the hell they're really doing and what's going on. So I created a source there, and I will go back to Austin probably in a couple weeks before Christmas and go see my friends at Vital Statistics. So that's something that we're working on, and we have a theory that once you get that legacy birth number, you have access to your trust that gives you the master document. That's what we're after. Okay, with that, I digress.
All
Thank you,
right.
gentlemen.
All right. So I'm going to bring it home. First of all, I want to thank everybody out there in the viewing audience. This has been a blessing. It's been a long, hard road. We've all come a long way. We've all been put through the ringer. We did not get here without getting any scars, cuts, bruises, and whatnot. So we are bringing this to you. So please support everybody in any kind of way, shape you can. To each guest, I want to thank you guys for coming on here. And we will definitely be doing this again. This has been fire. We're getting awesome responses. I like some of the comments where people were like, it's good to see people working together, not arguing and all belligerent and this, that, and the other. Like, so when I call everybody part of the wolf pack, it doesn't mean you're necessarily actually a wolf. It doesn't mean if you go by a wolf totem. What it means is that when I eat, everybody eats. When Floyd eats, we all eat. We fight together. We work together. We're not here in competition. That's not what it's about. We are not going to fall under Sun Tzu's The Art of War, where we're going to fight each other, trying to get scraps to move things forward. Okay, we don't need to fight each other and push each other down and go forward. We know where the energy needs to be placed. And if we don't eat, then we don't eat together. All right, that's how it is. All right, one speed, we're all moving together. So once again, we will all be bringing you guys some fire videos. We will definitely be doing this again. And I just want everybody to have a great night. Stay positive, stay blessed, stay warm, because I know it's cold as heck in the Midwest right now. But that being said, you guys have a great night. And once again, to all the people out there watching, thank you. Because without you guys, we wouldn't be doing this. We would be just doing what we do in the private, So, but we're doing this for you guys. So support, share the video, share the information, start studying. Like my man Eli said, we can bring you all the materials, but you guys have to know how to put it together and to utilize it. We can give you all the pieces for the weapon, if you will, educational information only. And we'll sell this is how you put it together, but you got to put it together yourself and swing it. So with that being said, everybody have a great night. We'll talk to you guys later. Bad Wolves over and out.
Thanks again, James. Nice meeting everyone.
All right, guys, that is it.